Here we are live. What's going on, YouTube? What's happening today? Holy mackerel, 2 live shows in 1 week. I can't believe it. It's Trucking Answers Live. That's funny. And the corner of my phone, I just got a notification that I'm live and I should go watch myself. I have no idea why YouTube does that. What's going on? Okay, where is everybody at today? I'm going to wait for a bunch of people, but hoping for several thousand people, but I'll settle for one person, which I have several people here. Today, they just announced for the glider kits, if you saw that, no more, you're not going to get an exemption for gliders. They suspended that rule temporarily. So I thought that was pretty interesting. There's not that many people that get those, but what's going on, Dave B? There's not that many people that get the gliders, but they're just trying to skirt around the regulation, of course. That's why we get the gliders. And it can't be a money-saving thing. It's got to be pretty expensive to make a glider. That's what I think. Put a whole drive line into another truck? What does that cost? It'd be just as good to buy a new truck, but then you have all the emissions and DEF and everything else like that, which some people don't like. I saw those trucks burn down at that truck stop. That was pretty awesome. Burned half that truck stop down. They're investigating that. I thought that was interesting. We got all this crazy stuff going on like that. It just went nuts this week. As from just 2 days ago, it just went crazy. For being on vacation, everything happens when I'm not at work. Where is everybody at today? That's what I want to know. I'm still at home, as I plan to be until Monday. What is everybody else doing? Is anybody sitting around right now not getting paid? I had a Twitter war yesterday. You should have been there. If you're not there, I'm on Twitter, of course, at Trucking Answers, with the head of a trade group, the Small Business in Transportation Trade Group. He was griping at the FMCSA that they need to change the rules because drivers are speeding because because of electronic logs. And I suggested to him that maybe drivers are speeding because small businesses don't pay drivers for all of their time. And he didn't like that very much. He said, well, mega carriers set the ground rules. I forget how he put it, set the rates for everybody. And I said, baloney. Any company can pay whatever they want anytime they want. Just because some mega carrier doesn't pay somebody doesn't mean your little podunk company that's a member of this trade group can't pay people. So I didn't like that at all. Everybody wants to push this off on the government when drivers are not being paid. The problem is companies are just not paying them. You can't mandate that. The government can't mandate that anyway, although I guess they could change back to overtime rules for drivers, which transportation's been exempt since the 30s. That's even before I was born, which is hard to believe. But transportation is exempt. Look, drivers should be paid for all their time, no matter what the head of this trade group says. It doesn't make any difference. Good job, Timothy. Glad to see you here. You made it today. I know you missed out on Tuesday. It was extravaganza beyond belief, that's for sure. And that's a stretch right there. Drivers should be paid for their time. If you're not being paid, the question I ask really, right, and not facetiously or not being mean, right, is why are you not being paid? And if your company doesn't pay you, I guess the question today is, why do you stay there? Why don't you leave and go work somewhere else? Yeah, hey, Big Huge Mike. What's happening, Big Huge Mike? I want to know, Mr. Mike, why people aren't being paid. I constantly get comments about people that sit around and are not paid. And I wonder, it seems like I'm mean saying, well, why do you do that? But I'm not trying to be mean. I want you to get paid, right? I'm not being mean about it. I want you to get paid and you should get paid, but we can't go to the government. A strike is not going to work, obviously, because that just isn't going to work. You can't strike everybody because it's not going to do it. You could go one company at a time. But why do you tolerate not being paid, really? Why every time something happens, you should get paid? And I get mileage and stops, right? But I get paid for any extra time. I get paid for it, okay? If I break down, I get paid. If I have to wait somewhere, I get paid. Everything is paid right away. There isn't waiting time. Oh, after 3 hours, after 4 hours. Where did I see something? What was I looking at the other day? I was looking up some new companies for new drivers. And like CFI, you only got $90 a day. Yeah, Well, they're going to lose more drivers, and we'll see who's going to pay. But the problem is they've been losing drivers. These companies, 150% turnover. So they have 5,000 trucks, they're hiring 7,500 people a year. It doesn't seem to bother them. It doesn't bother them. The only answer is that they can't get new people. As long as they can churn, over, that's all the end of it. And drivers settle for this. Why though? I think, and I've said this before and I get feedback on it, right? You got to realize that you're a professional and that your time is valuable and you can't settle, okay? Your time is worth good money and you shouldn't sell it for less than it's worth. You should sell it at the market rate. And look around, I'm near Indianapolis. I live an hour north of Indianapolis. And we have UPS running an ad for $30 an hour plus overtime. That's over $2,000 a week for 60 hours of pay. So if you're not getting that, okay, I don't know. So that's the kind of money that your time should be worth, because that's the kind of money you can get in the marketplace. And they're running an ad right now today. I just saw it again today. So $30 an hour, that's $2,000 a week. That's $100,000. And I've had several people comment, you can't make $100,000. UPS will run an ad for drivers. Okay, if you have a decent record, check UPS in your area. They may be hiring, and there's your $100,000 right there. Now they got a lot of weird regulations, like I'd have to cut my flowing beard here off or whatever, but and I'm not going to commute that far. I live very close to work. I don't like to commute. But this is the kind of thing drivers do. They'll sit and then complain to me that we should strike. But if you struck every company, how would every company change their pay? When would the drivers be satisfied to go back to work? Because the government, no matter what, the government can't mandate that you get a certain amount of pay. They could only mandate minimum wage and overtime. They can't say, all right, drivers in the United States get an amount, because that's not how it works here in the United States. Free market allows you to get whatever you want. If you'll take no money, I guess you'll take no money, but you don't have to. There's so many jobs right now. You don't have to accept not being paid. There's tons, just when you're sitting there for one of those 6-hour sitting spells where you don't get paid, start calling other places. Just look up, trucking companies, get the little magazine at the Loves or wherever you go, and start calling places. First year, you have to settle. There are companies that will not hire you without experience. I agree. But settling, you should still look around. And I'm developing a thing about this, right, where drivers, kind of a spreadsheet where you can see it easier. So you can see there are places you might get, $38,000 your first year or $48,000 your first year, depending on how they pay, and because mileage isn't everything, so it just depends. You do sort of have to settle, but you're in your mind thinking, okay, I'm just doing this for my year experience, and then I'm going to go somewhere else. But I get people that write to me saying they've been driving 25 years and they're sick of not being paid. When you've been driving 25 years, you can go work anywhere you want, unless you got 10 DUIs and you murdered 7 people in your truck last year and got convicted of it, okay? As long as you have a decent record, that's the other thing. Keep a clean record, keep no points, and keep all your endorsements, and you can go and get some money. You don't have to settle. That's what I'm saying, I guess. You don't have to settle for not being paid. You should be paid. We should all be paid. All drivers should go get paid. Now, there's plenty of places that'll pay, and then there's places big and small, like the head of the Small Business and Transportation Trade Group so aptly told me, that they have no choice but to not pay people, which is, of course, ridiculous. Transportation, freight rates, everybody. This isn't just me. Look at everybody, right? Freight rates are up, so places can pay. UPS just got their new contract, right? 4 or 5 year contract with a $4 an hour raise. Okay, and so because they're making money, every company is making money basically, unless you have one truck that only hauls one certain thing, and the market is going good, is what I'm saying. Everybody, the freight boards are good. All the load boards show more pay. There's pay out there. Even lease drivers. Huh. Yeah, I don't know about that. Even lease drivers, which, it's another story, are getting paid. Like, you go to lease a truck from a company, and then they call you an owner-operator, which you're not. You basically bought yourself a job, because the truck is their truck. And if you don't think so, go turn the speed up on your lease truck if you're a lease operator. You're not an owner operator. Go tell the company, you know what, I'm going to take the speed limiter thing off here. I don't really like it. I'm going to go do whatever I want with my truck. And they'll soon tell you whose truck it really is. And it turns out it's not yours. Tell them, I'm going to paint it. I don't like this color. I'm going to go paint it. I don't know about that. They may not like that kind of thing. And then there's all these mileage limits. You pay over mileage, just like a car. Because you're leasing it from them. It's their truck until the end. Like I talked about Tuesday, one guy I talked to for Prime, right, and I pick on Prime a lot, but his payment was $11.75 a week on his truck, okay? That's $60,000 a year for the truck, and it was for 4 years. But he goes, oh, but I can buy it for $1. I'm like, yeah, you paid $240,000 for it. How nice of them to let you buy it for $1. So, and there's no way you can make any more money than a company driver if you're paying $60,000 a year for the truck, plus maintenance and all the other, right, $22.90 and everything else. I just can't see. I can't see that being a great plan. I mean, what kind of car could you get for $60,000 a year and put it on as a black car somewhere? Or you could buy a new truck easily for less than that. So, but he did get a new truck. It just didn't seem like a good plan to me to spend that kind of money on. I know places lease them for less. He just happened to talk to me about his $60,000 a year lease. He's like, oh, I can write the $60,000 off. I'm like, well, congratulations. You get to write $60,000 off. Wow. There's no way that, there's just no way. Yeah, you can't lease from Brown Loan Sharks. Yeah, there's a problem. They lease, that's the thing. They push people, and that's what he said, right away. Out of truck school, you get your own truck. They're like, oh, come and lease a truck. Couple months, you can lease a truck. Couple months, you can lease a truck. That isn't any kind of great plan. 3 months you're leasing a truck, you have no idea what you're doing. Oh, it was CFI. By the time you're done paying off, yeah, this is the problem. You've driven this truck 4 years, really, so you have 500,000 miles on it. You've paid $240,000 for it, and they sell it to you for $1. And now what are you going to do with it? They only take like up to 6 or 7 years. So in a couple of years, they make you get rid of it and get another truck. CFI had an ad. I was watching this show, and I had an ad there, and they touted this like, oh, if you come on new as a new driver, you can get a trainer. Our trainers have to have at least 9 months experience. And they're like, wow. I'm like, wow, 9 months experience. That's awesome. So they have trainers there that have 9 months of experience. Holy crap, holies. What is going on here? What is going on with... You can't train somebody if you have 9 months experience. You could start right at the end of winter in March. And by just the beginning of the next winter, you could have your 9 months and become a trainer. You never saw a snowflake. What if you're from Florida and you've never driven in snow your whole life, and now you're going to go have somebody, and your first load will be across the Eisenhower? No way, right? No way. Cross 70. Yo, go across 70. Put those chains on. I'm going to have a video about that, hopefully later this year, how to install chains. I think I'm excited about it, right? I'm trying to find a set of chains to use. We're going to do a video on how to install chains for everybody that doesn't know how to do it. You should know how to put a set of chains on your truck. I've used them in various places around the country at different times just to go get up a hill or something. I used them in Virginia one time. There was a pilot on 81. It's up a hill there, right? People were stuck. I threw one chain up the hill. So that's something that people should know. We're going to do that later this year as we get closer to wintertime. There's no need for them yet. But you should lay them out, check them out, right? I don't know where I got off on chains, but you should get them checked and stuff now before you need them in the wintertime. Right, and this is why we have the level of drivers that we have, and that is correct. We have trainers with 9 months experience at these places, and they're making that like it's a big deal. Like they're happy that they're making people wait a whole 9 months before they can become a trainer. I'd make them wait 5 years before you can become a trainer. No tickets or accidents. Then you might get better people. But this is the other side of it. When I started driving, okay, I didn't have a trainer. I graduated truck school Thursday, because Friday at our truck school was for people that failed the test Thursday. You could retake it, but I passed it Thursday, and I went to work Monday. No trainer. So what has happened between 1988, when I started driving, and today in drivers? And my first job, I used to live near Chicago, right, was Chicago. I drove in Chicago, local, for economy transport, and I'd have 15, 20 stops a day in a Ford L8000, right? It was a 77 or something like that, 10-speed day cab, local. And I guess that's good practice because I'd have all these stops every day. But, I mean, that was my first job right out of truck school. And I never had a trainer, other than truck school. right? I didn't have any training. That guy's like, here's your paperwork. See you later. And I remember that guy, right, as a story. His name was Yogesh Gandhi, which is an interesting name. That's why I remember it. And he had this beautiful Mercedes that he drove to work every day. And he would give you two $1 bills every day, were paper clipped to your paperwork that you had. And every day, then every stop, you had to call him, because calls were a quarter. There were actually payphones, which you young people can ask someone older what a payphone is. And you'd have to call them all day. And then if you had any money left at the end of the day, because you're home every day at this job, you had to give him the money back. And he knew how much money you would have because he marked it down in a little book that how much money you owed him. So then he'd like, oh, 50 cents. Where's the 50 cents? And you'd have to give this guy the 50 cents back. This is the guy with the Mercedes, right? Mercedes, SD 400, 300, right? Diesel, S-Class diesel, nice car. Just hilarious. I think that's kind of funny. That's just a little story that I had, but you'd have to give him back. And then the next day when you came in the morning, you got $2 again to make your phone calls. Now, I don't know. I never ran out of money, so I never had to call him that many times. So I don't know what you would ever do if you ran out of that. I guess maybe you could make a phone call, and then he would probably have that marked down and would give you the quarter back. Pretty funny story. Maybe just to me. I don't know. I thought it was pretty funny. And that job, by the way, first job, $250 a week salary. $250 a week. And I thought I was big pimping because I had been managing an Arby's, assistant manager. So I had a huge raise, and I thought that was just the greatest thing. Yeah, you know, there's an easy way to put chains on and a hard way to put chains on. And the hard way is when you don't know what you're doing, and then you try to put them on when it's 10 degrees and blowing snow. If you have chains, right, and we're going to do this later this fall. I'm going to do this video, right, how exactly to put on chains. And then I want you to take your chains off and put them on your truck and then take them off so that you know what you're doing, because you do not want to put them on. If you're at a company that makes you put them on, you don't want to put them on for your first time on the side of the road. It's 10 degrees out. You don't want to be messing around. On the side of the road, by the way, as I go off into winter talk, you can pay them $40, $50, throw us on the CB to put your chains on for you. But you know, you don't want to do that. Get out there, this is part of your job, I think, and put on your own chains. If you're in an area, you know, you're out west where you chain up. You got to do it. It's just part of trucking. Some trucks have these automatic chains. Here where I live, because in 3 minutes I can be in a cornfield, the school buses have automatic chains, which I've looked at. And underneath the truck, the bus, in front of the tires is a little spinny thing like this, and they have a switch on the dashboard, and it spins a chain out, and the tires drive over these chains, which I think is a great idea. Because if you've ever looked at a school bus driver, the average driver is approximately 117 years old and barely sees over the thing. This lady's not going to get out and put chains on a school bus. She's just not. So the switch on the dashboard is a great idea with auto chains. Does anybody have automatic chains? I have never seen them on a semi, although I know I've seen them at the mats and all that, the truck shows. They can put them on there, but I've never seen anybody put them on. Maybe an owner-operator is going to have to do that first. Companies just aren't going to throw the money out, I think, to put that on the trucks yet. I mean, we had a tough time getting, you know, power windows. We just got in all the trucks, basically, maybe 5-6 years ago, when we got rid of the Columbias. We got rid of those, and then we got all power windows. I think because it comes with power windows. Otherwise, you probably wouldn't have those either. Because our trucks are, you know, pretty basic trucks, for sure. For sure. I went over and checked on it today. It was still there. But the chain thing, you know, if you got somebody with 9 months experience, are they going to be able to teach you how to put chains on? That's questionable. Are they going to know how to get down a mountain? Are they going to know, you know, are they going to know what to do? Are you just going to ask each other? You go, oh, I don't know. What do you think? Oh, I don't know. What's a map? Right? We're lost. So I don't buy it. If I teach somebody right, they use a paper map the whole time they're with me, because I want people to understand where the cities are in relation to other cities, where the roads go in relation to everything else. Not just a little tiny screen of a GPS, but on the whole state, so you can learn where everything is. I think that's a better idea. You should learn with that. Even today, always have a GPS running for traffic, but you should always at least learn on a paper map. And you should get paid extra if you're training people, of course. You should get paid extra for everything you do. Stop selling your time for nothing, really. It's if a company says you're going to do work here and we're not going to pay you, that's almost slavery, right? because you can't leave right then. Almost. Right, just about. You could leave later, though, of course, which you should do. You'd say, sorry, I don't do that if you're somewhere that does that. Zip tie chains. I've seen those things that wrap around the tire, kind of like a zip tie, but look, I like a regular set of chains. Singles, doubles, right? Put them on. It doesn't take that long. Just get yourself a crap load of bungee cords, put them on there, and, if you put them on right, they'll stay on there, as long as you're not going 90 miles an hour on a dry road. I don't buy it. I just don't buy it. The thing is about being paid. I've seen this boot thing. I don't know if you get any kind of good traction with the boots. I'm not sure. And I don't think the boot qualifies as having chains, because in some states, you're required to have chains. You have to have chains. They have to meet certain regulations. I don't think the boot qualifies. It would help you at a dock or whatever, probably. But if you don't meet the chain requirements of that state, then that's a problem. Because out west, right, you have chain requirements, certain chains, and if you don't meet it, no, I don't think 16 over, right, is the big violation, right? So 15 over is still just a ticket, I think. It's a problem. How much is that ticket going to be in California? I'm going to say it's $3.50, maybe. Might not even say on the ticket. Now, do you fight it? You're going to have a tough time fighting it, and then you're going to pay extra fees. You might have to pay it and learn a good lesson. No speeding. You ever see me cruising? I'm basically going the speed limit. $3.50. That's what I'm saying. Look, it's hard to have sympathy for somebody like that. There's signs. Oregon, right? Colorado. Lots of places require this, and they have to have a certain number, and so this sock, I don't think the sock meets that requirement. I'm going to look that up later, but I'm pretty sure that if you just had the tire socks, which I've seen, right, I don't think that's going to meet the chain requirement. You're going to require to have chains. The auto chain does meet the requirement, but this sock thing, I don't think so. Look, speeding is the same kind of, that's interesting. Was he speeding because, what's going on? Say what? Was he speeding because of the electronic log, like my Twitter friend said from the Small Business and Transportation Trade Group, who's mad at me? Right. That kind of thing, it has to be put on the driver. The driver is ultimately responsible for operating the truck. And, I'm sure the construction zone is signed. I know it seems like harsh, the driver, but 15 over is not just a little over. That's pretty far over. And California is terrible. It's terrible to trucks, especially because of the split speed there, which is way off. In a construction zone, probably everybody had to slow down. And I agree with you, right? I don't speed either. Your license is how you make money, right? That's how I feed my face. That's how I pay my car. That's how everything. So that license, that's my job. That isn't like somebody who just gets a ticket. And an interesting fact, which I read years ago. The average person, not just truck driver, interacts with the police 7 times in their lifetime. So a driver at that same rate would get a couple tickets a year, and you cannot have that. Most drivers, though, get way less than the average person. They're very good drivers. And I'm not saying this guy with this ticket is not a good driver. People get tickets, right? It's a good lesson to learn. He just started driving. Tell him not to get any more tickets, because 2 tickets is going to impact your job. If he likes this company, they wouldn't fire you. Look, where I am, they'll fire you here for tickets in your car. Keep that in mind. I can get 3 tickets in my car, never get a ticket in a truck, and I'm fired. That's how serious they are about it here. Because they know that if you're irresponsible in your car, you're probably irresponsible in the truck too. And a lot of companies are doing that. A lot of companies are doing that. Tickets in your car can impact your truck. And people say, what? I can drive my car however I want. Not really. That's still on your license. The deal, oh my God, the trainer fell asleep. See, that's another thing. Okay, couldn't get in 8th gear, must have been a stick. Look, what I have always said, and the law doesn't allow this, but if you're a student and there's a trainer, that trainer should be responsible for everything you do. If the student gets a ticket, I would hold it against the trainer. That trainer shouldn't be sleeping. That trainer should be up in that seat, awake. If you're with me as a student, I'm up. If I'm driving, you can sleep. But if you're driving, I'm up. trainers, you can't train somebody in the back. You're not doing any more for them than I'm doing over here. They could be watching this video and be getting more training than from that trainer. Although I don't recommend it if you're driving. Trainers, that's, you know, I don't even know what to say. You should be up. If you're a trainer watching this, get your butt up in that seat when the student is driving. That's how you're going to teach them. They have all this stuff to learn, and you're going to go to sleep just so you can double your pay. That's crazy. That trainer should be held responsible for that ticket. They probably can't, well, they couldn't take it out of his pay because that's his wages, but I'd hold it against him. I'd point him, I'd say, all right, that ticket counts against you. So another student gets a ticket, that accounts against you, and I'd eventually, if a student got a couple tickets, I'd fire the trainer. I'd fire mine like, why aren't you up? But companies, look, companies love it. They basically get a team truck at partial pay because the student is generally not making half pay. The trainer's getting all miles, and the student's getting, you know, a little bit of pay. And so the company gets a benefit from that, and it's disappointing. I don't like it. I never liked it. The student should be up, and the trainer's up. They're both sitting there with each other. The trainer's like, why don't you slow down? If he was up, maybe he said, hey, maybe we can't go 15 over in this construction zone. We're going to get a ticket. We need to slow down. That stuff just irks me to no end. These companies over the years just keep edging in and letting this stuff go. And so now I know there's some students, because they've talked to me, as soon as they get in the truck, boom, trainer's sleeping, they're driving all night. What kind of training is that? And you call the company's like, well, too bad, you know, that's a trainer. Because students are new, they don't want to be make complaints right away, even though they should do it, but, you know, they're not going to do it because they're brand new driving. That's all they can do. The trainer should be up, no, period. As simple as that. They shouldn't have any other way to do it. He told the DOT I fell asleep. Yeah, I don't want to know about it. Right. Typing. Okay, right. I don't agree with it. The DOT faulted the trainer, right? I don't think the DOT can give the trainer a ticket, though. Because he's not the one driving. The one driving is going to be responsible. Even though she's new, she still knows what a speed limit is unless she's never driven a car before. Okay, so that's not going to work. Unfortunately, but the company is the one that should take this trainer and beat his butt on it and say, what are you doing here to people? This student is getting tickets because you're an idiot. You know, I wouldn't let him train anymore. But that's me. Companies love it because if they get anybody that stays a few months, they're like almost if you stayed a year at a mega carrier, you're the CEO now. Did you know that? That's a true story. Yeah, if you go to these large carriers, stay a year, you're in the boardroom because you have more seniority than everybody. It's just sad. The trainer, why isn't the trainer up? What are you doing? How do you train somebody if you're not up? I don't understand it. And the problem is, here, the trainer's getting paid for all this time. There are people sitting in docks not getting paid, and here's a trainer getting paid while they're sleeping. That's even worse. That's the worst part of it. And the student's getting $500, $700 a week sometimes, $800 if they're lucky. I've seen $600, $700, which is more than it used to be. It used to be $300, $400. That doesn't work for me. We need to get rid of that as well. But most companies now, they require you to go through training like that. It's harder to get a job starting out. There are some places that will hire you with no experience, and then they'll do their own little training, but it's very hard. It isn't the way it was. I got a job out of truck school. I had that job lined up before I got out of truck school. Accident at Donner Pass. I'm going to watch that movie. People should watch that movie. Accident at Donner Pass. Let's all watch it. I never heard of it. It sounds fascinating. Is this a Stephen King movie? Ah. They sent her back out and told her to get and got her a ticket to send her back home. What the heck? Why does she have to go home? So the student gets a ticket and they're sent on a Greyhound. Number one, you send me on a Greyhound, I'll never talk to you again. That's number one. Okay? Number two, this is a good thing too. No matter if you're a student or a driver, you should always have enough money with you or available to get with you, like on a debit card or a credit card, to get you home from anywhere in the country in a reasonable way so that you don't have to take a Greyhound. You can fly yourself or get a rental car or whatever, because what if you live in Florida and you get off the truck in California? You want to take a Greyhound across there? A crackhound? Oh my gosh, are you kidding me? No way. No way do I want to do that. That's crazy. You should always have enough money. What, $300-400 with you, $500 available your whole life so that you can get back home from wherever you are in case you need to get home. Sending the student home, that's crazy. You get a ticket and you go home? Boy. And the trainer gets to keep going on? Oh, I love it. I love it. The trainer probably loves that. What the heck is going on, if you want to tell me what kind of company this is? What kind of crap company is doing this? I should go back to doing my crap company of the week, I guess. You don't send somebody home. Huh. It's crazy. I just don't understand it. Where do companies think they get off? And here again, we go back right from what we said at the beginning, because people settle for it. People settle for it, and that's disappointing. People settle, but new people don't know the difference. And that's what I'm trying to get across to people, really. That new people don't know the difference. And so what are they supposed to do? If you don't know, what are you supposed to do? So people that are experienced, need to help new people by explaining this to them and saying, look, you don't have to be treated like this. This doesn't have to be your future. And then people like that quit then. They quit the industry when they don't have to. It's a good place to work, but they get treated poorly by a place or two, and then they leave. And it's unsettling and it's disappointing. It doesn't have to be that way. We shouldn't let that go on. Like when I was arguing with this guy yesterday, somebody's got to tell these people, hey, we see you and this isn't going to happen anymore. Okay, I'm watching you. You know, I tweeted back at that guy again. Yeah, that's the problem. When you come out of school, you don't have much money, and that is a problem. I agree. Most people go in, they don't have money. That's why they're truck school. So I understand if you're a student, you don't have money to get back and you have to take the Greyhound. But I'll tell you, on the way home in the Greyhound, she should probably look for another place to work. I really think so. Tell her to go find another place to work, because if they would do that to her on this, what's down the road? What's the next thing they're going to do? Next thing, they're going to fire you and send her home. There's other places. Even as a student, there's other places. Even if you owe them money on truck school, you don't have to stay there. You can leave even if you have a contract. You just have to pay it later. So I quit. Go chase me around. It'll take them a couple of months to figure out where you are and get the money out of you. And just have a plan to go somewhere else. Yeah, if you have a contract, they've paid your school, so you have to work there a year, but it's a crap, it's horrible, quit. You do not have to stay there. You're not an indentured servant. This isn't the 1600s where they brought you over here on a boat and you have to work for them. You can quit and work somewhere else, and their only recourse is to have you pay the money back. Okay, the $4,000, $7,000, whatever it is. It's not a lot of money. Mark, that's a lot of money. $7,000 is a lot of money. How much is your car? Okay, how much is your house? Relative to your life, it isn't much money. Go work somewhere else and pay them back, right? It's $100 a week for, a year, a little over a year. It's $50, a week for 2 years. It isn't that much money. It isn't much money for your peace of mind, because you're going to go crazy at these places that treat you poorly, that don't pay you anything. Well, I told her it was a cutthroat industry. Well, it depends where you work, right? I'm all casual over here, right? It depends. Getting a load, yeah, we're supposed to get the loads where they go, but that's everybody. And, it doesn't have to be, somebody doesn't have to be breathing down your throat every 3 seconds to get the load. It doesn't have to be them. Go, go, go. If they're on you like that, I guess you're making a ton of money then. There's no sitting around. Even Crete, who has a terminal here in Lafayette, right, a small terminal, rents a car for you. I agree. They should rent a car. A lot of places use a Greyhound. A car rental is nice, or a plane ride, of course. As you go, though, as soon as you can, make sure you have enough money. Because if you're somewhere else and need to get home for whatever reason, your company may not give it to you. They could fire you somewhere else, and then you don't have to argue with them. You just get home and work out what happened later. So you don't have to worry about that. So save that money up as time goes by. But a place like that, you're not going to want to work there. If they'll let their trainers sleep, what the heck else? And how long is training? Some places it's 3 weeks, 6 weeks, it just depends. Oh, the water. I don't like the whole thing. But we as trainers and experienced drivers need to tell people this that are coming in the industry, right? Let's go talk to them and say, hey, you don't have to do this. You don't have to deal with this. You don't have to be treated badly. You're still a person. You're still a driver like everybody else. You still deserve to be treated like you should be treated like a regular person. You're a driver there. You're making the company money. They ought to treat you with respect. And the trainer, I've heard, oh my gosh, how many stories where the trainers just are horrible to people. It's crazy. You do not have to be treated with disrespect from that trainer. No way. You get on the phone immediately and call up the company and say, This guy needs to shut his mouth right now, or there's going to be problems. Because that is a hostile workplace. Tell the company that the trainer is creating a hostile work environment. Remember that. Hostile work environment. They'll listen to that because that's an important word for them, especially at a larger company, right? Because they're all about, lawsuits and everything. It's hard enough being in a truck with somebody you don't know and then having to go out, be on the road, and then they treat you poorly and then they go to sleep. And you're just being used as it is for training purposes. Because usually you don't need as many weeks as they have you. They have this set amount, which isn't right. It should be how much do you need, right? Maybe you're really good at it. Years ago, we didn't have training and I managed to go out and do my job. So it just depends. Each person, maybe it's just a few days. Maybe this person needs extra time because they have trouble backing or whatever. I've run a last chance backing class here at my company where you've had a couple of backing accidents and then you come and see me on a weekend for the class because I'm the last one you see before you get fired. So you pass that class and you can tell the people that have it and the people that don't have it, that have a really tough time getting it. So it just doesn't come naturally to everybody. And that's all right. We can work with people. If you want to do it, we can work with it. Everybody can be worked with. Because if you want to be successful, all you need is to be consistent and persistent in trucking, and there's plenty of places for everybody to go. It doesn't make any difference, what your level is, unless you totally just don't understand left and right. It isn't that complicated of a job. Just be on time, get yourself up every day, cart yourself around the country, and be safe, and that's it. But the speeding, I don't know. The question is, why would you be speeding in a work zone? Maybe you're used to doing it in your car, and so you can't do it, and you do it. Right. See, 7 weeks of training is a really long time, wild man, to be in a training. And they do, these companies need you more than you need them, and that's true. The problem is they don't really show it. And I don't think 7 weeks, I think 7 weeks is a really long time. And some companies say, okay, it's 7 weeks. So even though you got it in 2 weeks, they're at 7 weeks. That's crazy. Why should you have to sit there when you have it? And that's reducing your pay over those other weeks when you've already know what you're doing. And so that's cutting your pay. You may lose a couple of $1,000s a week that you would have otherwise made as a solo driver because they have you in this pseudo training thing to help them, because that way that keeps their trucks as team trucks too, remember. Because almost every company has these people. What's going on, Peterbilt 379 from Tuesday and everywhere? They keep these trucks teaming because they keeps the trucks rolling. I don't know about a stream tomorrow. It depends on what's happening. This one's up. We'll see about tomorrow. That could happen. Could happen. May pop up. May not pop up. That's for sure. The thing is, when they get these team trucks, they make a ton of money because their truck payment doesn't go up, right? Nothing goes up for them. But they can get all this freight delivered, and they get to charge more. Freight that delivers in 1,000 miles overnight pays more. I'm sure somebody that runs a load board can verify that overnight freight 1,000 miles pays more than solo freight. It just does. That's how they pay teams more. But a team and a trainer team is two different things, I think. Because the trainee and the trainer should be up. And I dare some company come on here. Every company is welcome, right? Any company's welcome on here and talk to me about that. I'd love to hear about that. FedEx Ground, right? They run solo ads here in Indianapolis all the time for singles, because they have dedicated runs that are 750 miles, round trip. So you go out and you come back 500 miles, no problem. So they have some solos at FedEx. Indianapolis for me is where all the freight is. Apparently, I don't live there, so I don't go there. But I look at their ads all the time. There's tons of jobs, tons of FedEx and Yellow and Roadway, which is the same place. UPS, it's all of them. But a lot of them don't take trainees. And at least you don't have to chain up here. That's for sure. There's some places down there too, like Celadon and some of these mega carriers. They're based out of Indianapolis. Martin is down there. A lot of, I guess, Reefer can run whatever you want. Who do we have down there? Nestle? They make Gatorade in Indianapolis. The airport. FedEx is all about the airport. It's just a mess down there. I don't know what to... Down there, there's tons of jobs if you want to commute 2 hours I don't like to do that. I'm 4 miles to work. That saves a ton on gas. You have to consider all these factors. Remember, when you're looking for a company, mileage is not the only factor you want to consider. It's not just mileage. Some place may pay a few cents a mile less, but then you get all this other extra. Maybe stops are more, waiting time is more, holidays. Oh, I saw that from somebody had $60 a day holidays. What the heck is that? $60 a day, holidays pay a day's pay. Who doesn't get, what's going on with that? I remember that because I was looking at all these CFI and all these new company, rail. Who pays $60 a day for a holiday? What is going on in this industry? Why do people not get a day's pay on a holiday? Here, that's a driver being scammed again. But then you look at that over, you go, well, I get scammed on this, but I get 8 cents a mile more, and so you have to look at the overall thing, but I just don't like them paying less than a day's pay. Same with vacation. I've seen that where they pay a set amount for a week of vacation. I've seen as low as 400, some are 600. I think Celadon's 1,000 because I see their ads. It doesn't matter. You should get a week's pay. Whatever you make a week, that should be your week. I get a week's pay for being off because that's what you get. You get your average of the last 52 weeks if you take a week off of work. Simple. That's how it should be. That's what you earn. Same for a holiday. Same for anything. A day off should be a day's pay. It shouldn't be simple as that. Right, I remember, right, trainers, that's very common, okay? Trainers make you drive at night. That's just super common. They think, well, I want to drive at night anymore, and the truck can drive. That's pretty easy. And immediately they send you up there. They go, okay, get up and get back. I'm getting back here. See you tomorrow. And you're up. Now, look, isn't that nerve-wracking? Think about this. Say you're a trainer. Here's this person that comes in. Just got out of truck school. They have a couple 100 miles of driving experience, maybe, right? We didn't even have that at my truck school. Maybe 100 miles. And you go, all right, I don't know you from Adam. I have no idea about you. So I'm going to go ahead and let you drive all night. I'm assuming you'll stay awake. And I'm just going to go to sleep. I couldn't even do it. I couldn't even do it. No way. Every bump, you think you're dead. Every come, oh, I'm dead. Oh, I'm awake. Oh, I'm dead. No. No way. No way. Plus, what kind of trainer are you if you do that? You're not one. You're there to train the person in a new career that's going to change their life. Most trainers, though, just think, oh, I'm just going to double my pay. I don't care. And that isn't right. You're changing people's lives. Changing people's lives. Why do trainers make the driver drive at night? Because that's when you fall asleep. So trainers like to sleep at night. They're up during the day. And so they make the student drive all night because they basically have to do it because the trainer said so. And so then they get all their night sleep. They get all their beauty sleep. They get all their face cream on at night, the cucumbers on their eyes, and the things over their eyes and go to sleep, earring things, right? And so then the student's up all night. There's no way. Every pothole, you think you're dead. I'm dead. I'm awake. I'm dead. I'm alive. Oh, my gosh. Oh, my gosh. That'd be just as bad, almost just as bad teaming. But with somebody that you don't know, now they may be a great driver, okay? Who hires? Oh, my gosh. The trainer's mad because it's the only company would hire him because he had a DUI. A DUI. Now, where I work, you got to have 10 years out for a DUI. That's very common. Who hires somebody with a recent DUI? Oh, my God. And then make him a trainer. I don't think I'd hire somebody, I don't know, if ever. It'd be a long time. You'd have to prove that you've had a license and everything. It's just crazy. Okay, small company, right. I'm a fan of large companies, not these mega carriers, but large companies because of benefits and opportunities. Many people like small companies because they know your name or whatever. I don't care if they know my name. They're not my friends. None of them have called me this week when I've been off. I don't care. They're over there. I'm over here. I don't care. I saw their cars over there today when I was looking at my truck, but that's it. I don't care. I need to know them. We don't talk on the phone. We don't have family gatherings. So none of that. I don't care about any of that. I don't care. I want the benefits of a large company with all the side benefits and everything. Okay, what is the difference between a large company and a mega carrier? A mega carrier is, okay, there's like not a dictionary definition. This is my definition of it, that a mega carrier is a carrier that primarily is focused on hiring students. And that's what they do. They bring students in. train them and basically spit them out the other end. And that's their whole churn. It's just getting in students. They run ads for experienced drivers, but nobody will work there. And that's all they do are students. That's mainly it. Werner, Schneider, Swift, Prime, JB Hunt, England, right? All these large places, right? That's what they do. And a large carrier is any carrier that's large. Smith Transport is a pretty large carrier, right? And they're pretty big, right? I say a large carrier, has multiple terminals, at least hundreds, if not thousands of trucks, a lot of different things to do, so that you can go here, if something happens, you can go do this, you go do that. They may have dedicated runs, they have teams, they have maybe different kinds of trailers, solos, day cabs, road, everything. But they're not focused on hiring students. They're focused on getting and keeping experienced drivers and doing things that are maybe unusual. Like here, I've hauled a suction truck and a whole, gone and sucked out big suction tanks, and we have a division that hauls oxygen. I went over there for fill in for a guy for a day. So I get all these benefits of a large company, which you get at any large company, even the mega carriers, right, have a lot of benefits. But then I don't get the grief of being in a mega carrier where all the trucks are ruined and everything is a disaster. 9 minutes on YouTube for the Donner Pass video, okay. And so, and that's all they're really trained to do. So everything at a mega carrier also is geared towards a student. So if you are an experienced driver, for example, I know a guy that went to Swift and he talked to me about it. Okay, as experience, which I don't understand. I think he was on drugs that day. On his load, now I don't know if they still do, it's been a couple years. They would give him the load, an exact route, and where to fuel exactly, and how many gallons to get. So it'll say stop at the Pilot, whatever Pilot, Uncomfort Pilot, get 53 gallons. And that's all his card was open for. And it was only open there and only for that many gallons. Then it would have him stop somewhere else and get 81 gallons, some exact amount. And if you didn't get it, they griped at him about it. And if you didn't follow the route, they griped at you about it. Because it's set up to help students. Because students don't know the routes. Students don't know all the stuff. That's why they're supposed to be being trained at these places, but they're not. So, but that, for an experienced driver, is aggravating, okay? If there's a problem, I may need to go around. They would not let you go around it. What do I think about Werner that stops at certain fuel stops? That's what I'm saying. If you have a place that gives you the fuel stop and only allows a certain stop, I don't like it. Because what if that place is packed? You have to sit there in line. My fuel card, we have a ComData card, is open everywhere. Okay, any place that takes ComData, which is everywhere basically now, I can fuel anywhere I want without a problem. That's the best way to do it. The second best way to do it is where they give you a book. A lot of places do that. They'll give you a whole book, and you can fuel anywhere in this book. You can stop at any places, go anywhere in the book. That's good too, because then if this place is full, you go here. Some of them, you and I both know. A lot of places are packed. It's a disaster. There's 50 million people in line at a Pilot, and across the street at the Petro, there's nobody. But a lot of places can't go over to nobody. So they have to sit in line over here. That wastes time. That wastes your electronic log, right? And that wastes fuel for them sitting there. Or you could just drive across the street and go. With electronic log, you want, to be able to go where you can get the best. But you need to be an experienced driver to do that. You may not know or realize every truck stop that is around because you just haven't been to all of them. Now, it's not like I've been to every truck stop. I've been to a lot of truck stops, so I know, the certain places that are busy. I don't go in them. I don't even think about going in them. I'm planning the day to go at a different place that I know. Usually it's places that, ironically, the mega carriers don't go. They're usually found in a Pilot. That's where you can find them. It's like a wildlife show. Here we see the lone Swift truck stalking the fuel island. Right. So I don't go in those places, right? I'll hit a Petro, or I like the Loves where I get my diamond and all my free drinks and everything. So going in places like that is better. And now what do I think Dare and I driving? Look, that's my preference. I drive in the afternoons, okay? I like to leave in the afternoon. Like Monday, I'm going to leave in the afternoon. That's how I do it. And I drive, I'm past traffic. I like driving it into the evening, but not really too late at night. That's how I like to do it. Other people, they like to get up, boom, they're out of there at 5 a.m. I'm a night person. I just don't like to get up in the morning. I don't like to do it. I like to get my sleep. So I just can sleep in, right? But other people like days. So that's all personal preference. And some people like the small companies. I'm just not a fan. I would rather work at a large non-mega carrier for the opportunity. Like when I moved, we lived in Chicago, and I moved, right? I didn't have to change companies. You know, you can move across the country. There's probably one over there, and which you could do at a mega carrier too. It's true. But it's just not a mega carrier, no. You don't want to be told what to do every day. This micromanagement of drivers that they do, that's so aggravating once you get experience. I don't want to stop at the pilot. There's 50 people in line, okay? I want to go over here. There's 4 lanes, 2 of them are down. There's a huge line, and you have to sit there. So we don't do that here. My card is open. That's the best way to feel. That's unusual, though. It is unusual to do that. A book is not too bad. It's not too bad, a book. Because there's all these places you get to look in there. Okay, every loves, every pilot, or whatever. That's how it works. Now, trailers that I like to pull. As I've gotten older, because now I'm in my upper 20s, extreme upper 20s, I have gotten lazy. And I like to pull vans now because it's easy. It's just super easy. For long distance, if I was going back coast to coast, right, when I used to go coast to coast, I was a fan of reefers. Because running a reefer, I got these long loads, and they're all palletized. Now, when I would start driving, drivers would tell me that reefer loads were all to hand unload, and they were all touch freight, and it was hanging meat, and in 1961, I don't do that. Okay, I never had that problem. I always got palletized loads that just sat there perfectly, and then you just get unloaded at the other end. The aggravating part about a reefer, you may have to wash it out depending where you're going. That takes a little time. But this was before electronic logs. Now with an electronic log, here we go with the time again. Time crunch, reefer, electronic log, problem. Sitting at the blue beacon for 2 hours, depending on who's in front of you. The cattle hauler in front of you, who just had 40,000 cattle get off of there, they've left a little mess behind, and it's going to take a little time. So vans tend to be easier than that. Flatbeds, right? I like flatbeds. It's a real challenge. Running a flatbed is a real challenge because you get all different kinds of freight. I think it's fascinating. Today you have low bars. Tomorrow you have pipes. Next time you get big pipes. Tomorrow you might have a pickup truck and some big piece of machinery. You never know what you're going to get on a flatbed. It's a much better challenge as long as they pay you to tarp, right? And heavy haul, I've done heavy haul. I had a detachable double drop for a while with 3 axles on the trailer, and we detach it and drive these big dozers up on it. And that's not bad. You don't have to tarp anything. The problem is once you get heavy and big, you get permits. Some states only let you run during the week, and sometimes you can only run during the day, and sometimes you need an escort, and you got to get the escort, although companies take care of that for you. So it pays more. You'll drive less. You probably get motels. I mean, it just depends. I think as you start out driving, you should try all these different things. You should always have your endorsements and go try different things. If they ask you, hey, you want to go over here and haul doubles for a week? You go, yeah, of course. Why not? Let's give it a try. You want to haul some triples or whatever? Of course. You want to go do this? Yes. Whatever it is, right? I'm in. I'm in. And then then later when they need somebody to do it, who they call? You. You. Always do everything that they allow you to do, because that experience will come in handy later. That's going to help you later in your career, because you list that on there. Oh, can you do this? Yes. What can you do this? Yes. Okay, my favorite truck stop. I like the world's largest truck stop in Walcott, but that's not my favorite truck stop. My favorite truck stop is the Petro. I'm going to say the Petro too. I think it turned into Petro in Salina, Kansas, because when I went in there, it's right there in Salina. It's right there. When I went in there, as he thinks, right? Oh, it's making some great video here, Mark. When I went in there, look, this was the most amazing thing to me. The shower was, I don't know why I got the shower. I asked them later, and they said this was the only shower open. The shower was huge, like huge, apartment sized, and the mirror had a TV behind it that you could watch TV while you're brushing your teeth or whatever in the mirror. And then the shower had the spray things here and up here. So it was like a luxury shower, like a luxury hotel or whatever, you know, I mean, and they just charged me a regular shower. He goes, that's normally, we charge 2 showers, but it was the only shower we had. And it was the most amazing shower that I'd ever seen. And it was just incredible. And so because of the shower, I guess, that's my favorite truck stop. I guess that'd be my favorite, that Petro, right? There's always parking. Usually Petros and that always have parking because we don't get these large mega carriers usually pulling in there because they're at the pilot waiting in line to fill up, and you just pull in and fill up and leave. That makes it a lot simpler. You want to go somewhere where there's not a bunch of people. Electronic log is running while you're in the fuel line. And don't tell me you're taking a 30-minute break in the fuel line because you're not supposed to do that. As I'm wagging my finger, don't do that. Although people do it, they sit there, and then I'm sitting behind them. I've had to back out of fuel lines before. I go up there, and the guy's like, I had a 30-minute break. I'm like, how do you take a 30-minute break? You're filling up your truck. That's not a 30-minute break. But I know people do it. I know people do it. Okay, paying for parking. Well, look, more and more places are charging for parking. And if it's reserved, it can be the best thing that ever happened. Because you're getting somewhere, okay, and you don't, maybe you're getting there late and you don't know if there's going to be a spot. If you can reserve a spot, isn't that worth a few bucks to you? And I say that because even if it's $10, $15, is that worth it? Because you want to drive around and violate your log? To me, that's sort of a cost of doing business. Because if I can know that I'm going to go to a place and there's going to be a spot no matter what time I get there, I'm going to pay for that spot. I'm going to reserve that spot. When I go in, they go, truck and answers, here's your spot right here. You can park right here. No matter what, even though it's packed full of people, that's worth it to me. Because I think about money as something that is helping me. I'm not spending money. That $10 is going to make me money because I'm going to be able to leave from there. I know I can get there. I know I can park. Money, don't look at money like you're spending it. Look at money like, how will that help me make more money? That $10 might make you $200 the next day because you can go to a place and have all these extra hours to drive and know you're going to get a parking place. Spend it if it's reserved. If you just pay, I don't know, that's no good, right? Parking at a Walmart. Look, a lot of Walmarts ban it. These ones by me, there's 3 by me here. There's trucks in them. They allow it. If they ban it, don't park in there because you can get booted or towed. And you are going to pay that ticket. A friend of mine years ago parked in Ohio at a Walmart. He walked inside. When he came out, there was a tow truck parked in front of him. Just parked in front of him. He goes, look, $175 or I'm towing your truck away. And there's signs, and there's nothing he can do about it. Because they got him. He parked there. No, it wasn't allowed. And he went and talked to the manager. Manager's like, look, we do this all day long. We tow you guys out of here. That place didn't want trucks there other than their own trucks. I don't like it because there's no showers. I like to get a shower. I want to get a shower because I'm a professional and I want to be stinking the place up. And places ban drivers. Look, they ban drivers because drivers, litter the place up. And I know you haven't been driving yet, so go to the nearest truck stop. Go drive if you're driving a car already. Go drive around the back of the truck stop and go look and see what's back there. Okay, it's disgusting. And so once drivers start littering like a Walmart parking lot or whatever other large place parking lot they park in, they don't allow it. And I hardly blame them. If you came in, I had a business and you threw all this junk and stuff that I had to go pick up every day, I'd ban you too. I mean, can you blame the place? You got to pay somebody to do it or you got to go do it yourself. And you want to go pick up 50 pee bottles? Come on. That's gross. Who wants to pick them up and they explode in the summertime? Which is somewhat funny. Okay, thanks a lot, Big Huge Mike. Thanks for tuning in. We appreciate you showing up here. Come by every time we got a live video. Everybody's welcome. Look, these mom and pop places, everybody's banning them, and it's just the Department of Highways puts a message out every year about pee bottles, about throwing pee bottles out your window, which I think is somewhat hilarious, but not if it's happening to you. When the sun hits them during the day, they heat up or something, and there's some kind of pressure, but and look, I can't even stand it, okay? I can't stand even saying it. When people pick them up, they burst. They burst open. Now, fortunately, in this state, it's just prisoners picking them up. But there was a picture in the paper of some pee-covered prisoner, which I hard for me to feel bad about. Thanks a lot, Jay. I appreciate you listening. I know you got work to do over there dispatching some car haulers at Auto Transport Intel on YouTube. Holy moly. So they're just exploding. Walmarts generally do, though. They allow their own trucks to park at their places. I don't think they ban any of their own trucks. We had that one driver go to Walmart, though. I don't know if she parks at Walmart's. She quit and went to work at Walmart. Yeah. Oh, good. Good. 2 wheels up on 2 wheels today. It's a beautiful day. It's supposed to storm tomorrow. Get out there while you can and save the gas. Look, the exploding pee bottles and dumping the garbage, it's just not professional. You shouldn't do that anywhere. There's garbage cans. You've all seen it. And there's garbage around the garbage can, and the can is not full. Put your garbage in the can. Do not pee on the fuel island. I don't know why I even have to say this. It's just crazy. Why am I telling people not to pee on the fuel line? Has anybody seen it? I've seen it. I've caught many people. I go, what's going on over there? What are we doing? Put that little thing away, I tell them. Holy man, you're going to get your shoes wet. You can't even get anything going. Okay, I shouldn't be saying that. Look. It's just ridiculous. Just ridiculous. So that's why they ban people. I think that's why they ban trucks from parking in there. And in the winter, you can get a lot of trucks too. Not every driver. Some of them are parked way up front. They even do that. Yeah, they even do that up. I've seen the trucks over here at Meijer, because I shop at Meijer, which is a Midwest grocery store, big box store. That's where we shop. And sometimes they let somebody park in there. Sometimes they're parked really close, okay? You got to have a little respect. You're huge. Go park farther away and walk up. You need to exercise anyway. Don't park up where the cars park. There was a bobtail up there a few weeks ago, like in the 3rd car spot, taking all these spots up. Come on, go park out there and walk in. Because eventually, people are going to gripe about that, and they're going to ban trucks, and that's why. They're going to ban them, because you can't go park in the back and nobody cares. But you're going to park up front. People are going to go complain to the manager. The manager's going to ban everybody, and that's going to be the end of it. And that's still disappointing. And it's our own fault. It's our own fault. But I like to stop at a truck stop. I can get a shower, right? I can go in there and get my free shower from my Diamond thing at Love's. And then I'm all fresh in the morning like a daisy, ready to go. And I always plan that out. If I had to pay, I would. I absolutely would pay if it guaranteed a spot in the middle of the night. Otherwise, in the middle of the night, you're not going to find a parking spot. Especially the further east you go, forget it. This is almost as far east as you can go and get a spot at night. You get any further into Ohio, Pennsylvania, you're not getting any spots. Then what? Now you show up, you're driving around. That's wasting your time. You could have been parked already and used those hours tomorrow, but you're wasting time. The $10 saves you time. How much do you make driving, okay? If you're getting 50 cents a mile at 60 miles an hour, right, that's $30 an hour. You're going to pay $10. That's only 10 minutes of driving. If you waste more than 10 minutes, you wasted more, 15 minutes. You wasted more than that just driving around, find a parking spot. It's worth it. And I think you can tax deduct it. I'd tax deduct it. What's going on, Ryan O'Ryan? I think it's a tax deductible expense for a truck stop, just like a shower or anything. Oh, God. God, I don't even want to say what you just wrote up there. That's gross. I've seen these bags full of material, let's put it that way, out there. You want to drive over that too? They just washed my truck this week. Gross. You don't want that? You just don't... I don't know what has happened to people. I don't remember it, but, as we get into our upper 20s like me, sometimes you think back and the days were better, but, for that, I don't remember people doing that. Maybe they did. I have seen more drivers pulling over. What do you think about this? More drivers seem to be pulling over and peeing on the side of the road, and I think part of that is electronic logs. I think part of that is so they don't have to go into the truck stop and then come back out on the road. I've seen a lot more of it, and I read a thing about it in Freight Waves or whatever a couple weeks ago. And so I've noticed more drivers stopping on the side of the road, and they're peeing on the side of the road because you see them back there when you go by. And I think a lot of that is electronic log. The pilots in Atlanta, the close by ones are a disaster, right? The closest I would get would be that one north, way north, that had idle air. Is there still have idle air up there? I loved idle air. That was my favorite thing to do. Man, this is making a good video. I'm waiting for Spielberg. Waiting for him to call. Look, do they still have it up there at that pilot? I just love that. Pull in. Idle air. Anybody use idle air? Am I the only one that uses idle air? I love it. Yeah, right. APU is taking over. But look, you can't get cable on idle air. You can't get it. you can't get cable on your APU. Okay, so even with that, right, you stick that thing in there. I got all these channels, right? You know, look, I've seen that too. What do I think about trucks and handicap spots? How do you drive a truck if you're handicapped? I mean, I don't understand it. And look, my wife is handicapped. She has the hanger in the car, and she parks here at the handicap spot. Okay, so I get it that you can walk. People look at you and think, "Wow, is this person handicapped?" But she's handicapped. Okay, so but how do you pass a DOT physical? She doesn't have to pass a physical to just be here and live here. What is wrong with drivers that they have a handicap thing and their spots and then they work? I don't understand. What is it? Can you drive a truck? Of course, a guy just sued Werner. I'm going to say it was Werner. Did you read about this? He is deaf and Werner wouldn't hire him. And you say, well, of course, there's a DOT deaf, right? You take a hearing. No. There, you can get an exemption. I didn't even know about this. I waited for the mail. Nobody came and told me. He got an exemption from the FMCSA, kind of like the diabetes exemption. You can get an exemption now if you're deaf. You can prove to him that you can still drive, and he got an exemption and they wouldn't hire him, so he's suing him for discrimination because he's handicapped, being deaf, but he can drive legally because he passed his physical with an exemption. I don't know. If he doesn't have to hear, why does anybody have to hear? I mean, it's either a safety thing or it isn't. And now I feel bad for him. He can't hear, of course. But if it's safe for him, it's safe for everybody. And he's deaf completely. They said no hearing aid, nothing. Nothing. He can't hear at all. Yeah. Parents do need to teach morals. What about vision? I think if you're blind, you probably cannot get an exemption. That's what I think. I think that you're blind, even, it's going to be close, but I'm not sure you can do it. Okay, you work, but you have a hard time walking. Do you have the handicap thing? And see, that's the thing. Can you pass a physical, though? Like at our physical, we got to bend over and I got to touch my toes and do walk like this and all this stuff. You know, so I don't know. Maybe like something like that where it's mild, like my wife, you still could get a handicap and pass your physical, I guess, without an exemption. But with the hearing thing, I was really surprised about that. I had no idea. Can you do with an eye patch? Basically, can you pirate it with one eye? That's a good question. You know, I don't know because they only do this kind of test, right? There's no stereoscopic test. I would say, since you can get it if you're deaf, that you're going to, oh, that's interesting, you're printing a handicap parking permit. What was this problem? I think that if you can see out of one eye, I bet you can get an exemption. If you can get one for deaf, you could probably get a one-eye exemption and still do it. If you can drive a car, why not? What's your trainer's problem? No, I didn't know you left, Peterbilt 370. Did you go to truck stop and see all the pee bottles? No. So I would say if you have one eye, you can get an exemption. Okay, can you get it? Why couldn't you get an exemption? Use a cane to walk. Okay, right. And so you could pass it. And so you get the handicap spot. Okay, fair enough. I guess you wouldn't be up for unknown to truck, although, yeah, that's pretty good. Although nobody should have to do that anyway. It'd be the same with the eye. See, in the middle of nowhere, you pee, right. And I see a lot of that. I've seen a lot more trucks with electronic logs just in the last few months. That's funny. I got to my wife Penn Station today. She'll be happy about that when she gets home from work tonight. So I think it's a sub shop up here. For people that don't know, they have grilled subs. They're delicious. Penn Station. Okay, not a sponsored ad. That's my ad for Penn Station Day. Super delicious. Go to one if you haven't been to one. By the way, Jay is watching from Auto Transport Intel. Has never eaten a White Castle in his life. He commented about that on his show. That's crazy. White Castle, delicious. Jay immediately head east to the nearest White Castle. Go get yourself a dozen and eat them. That's called a sack. All right, that's just an aside from something the other day that I remember seeing. Okay, I thought most truckers didn't pee in bottles. Well, I'm going to say this. Most truckers don't pee in bottles. But the ones that do make it look bad for everybody. It's always, no matter what it is, there's always just a small percentage of the group that ruins it for everybody. It just ruins it for everybody. Like there's just a small percentage of drivers that think it's horrible, but they're the vocal ones on the internet, and so they ruin it for everybody coming in. It's a great job. And it's these same people that are peeing into a bottle that are ruining it and throwing these bottles out and getting prisoners covered with pee everywhere and throwing them all over the place and peeing on the fuel line. It's the same people going around doing it everywhere they are. And they ruin it for everybody else. Because then I tell people I'm a driver and they're like, no, holy mackerel. You know, they just look down on you and it's sad. It shouldn't be that way. I mean, drivers that are getting $100,000 a year transporting everything around that people have, and then will get treated poorly because they saw some driver cut them off or peeing on the side of the road or into a bottle, throwing a pee bottle out. There was a guy dumping a bottle out. Can't believe we've devolved into talking about this, but at the Loves last week into a graded thing. I mean, it's just gross. What are you doing? You don't... Look, I say this a lot, right? I'm not out here to live like an animal, like the Elephant Man, okay? You can live a decent life. You don't have to be smelly. You don't have to be dirty. You don't have to pee in a bottle. You don't have to do any of those things, okay? Treat yourself like a professional. Treat other people with respect, and you will have no problems in trucking. Because when the going gets tough at your place, they're going to call you. Look, any trucker that parks in a handicapped spot that is not handicapped should be towed away. Just like a car. Whenever I see it, I call people. I call the cops on them and get them towed because my wife uses it. My grandmother had one while she was still alive. I boot them out of there. It should be the same for a truck. If you legit have the handicap thing, you should have the spot. I would never park in one. Go park and walk in. Your dad shouldn't be called a dumb hick for anything. You know, for driving a truck or for any other reason. That's crazy. You know, who would think to say that anybody? That's just ridiculous. There's no reason for that. We're all out here trying to make a living. That's it. Just out here making a living. Trying to go to work every day. Trying not to pee in bottles. You know, I just go to work, mind my own business, do what they tell me, and come back. It's just simple as that. Not peeing on the fuel line. You know, look, the fuel line, there's no excuse. You're at the truck stop. It's right there. If 2 minutes changes your day, you need to rethink your day. Plus, you must be making a ton of money. You must be making all kinds of money because you don't even have time to go into a bathroom when you're on a fuel island. You don't have any time. I gotta go right here, right now, bingo. We just put it in the DEF tank and off I go, which I've had a number of people tell me, and I don't recommend that because it may result in a hospital visit. Okay, don't do that. And isn't there a sign on it? Oh, it says something to the effect, don't put anything other than DEF in it. But I think, what do I think about truckers who shift gears with the jakes on? Look, those are old. When you hear a driver shifting and then the jakes catch, that's an older truck. Because on the new one, right, when it shifts, it delays the jake. It doesn't come on immediately so that you can shift. And that's been for a while, okay? Even on our stick-shifted trucks. When you shift, even with the jakes on, it doesn't catch the jake. It takes a couple seconds with your foot off the accelerator before the jake kicks in, just for that reason. So you can still have a smooth shift and jake, because when I'm driving, they're on all the time. Other than in a parking lot, okay? If I'm on the road, they're on. They're quiet on the truck. Use them all the time. That way it keeps the brakes and the truck slows down better. So I run them all the time other than in a truck stop where it's annoying. Okay, see, there you go. You've been driving with one eye. So you can pass the physical. Right, do you have a patch or a Sammy Davis eye? Because Sammy Davis had one eye, for people that don't know. One fake eye, one real eye. You couldn't, if you looked at him, you couldn't tell. Except the one eye didn't move then. I guess now they move. Some of them move. But some people patch it and some people eyeball it, and they color it to match the other eye. That's medical. Okay, all right, fair enough. Okay, you said memorizing the chart. Look, I recommended this to a driver years ago, and you shouldn't do it. Oh, they're both real, one doesn't work. Got it. But one guy that could not, didn't have money, right, to get glasses. They liked the sound. I agree with that. He didn't have money to get glasses, but he needed a job. Once he got a job, you get money. Okay, right, you're in the catch-22. I said, look, the eye chart, you all can look this up. It's a Snellen eye chart, Snellen eye chart. They're all the same. They're all the same. Memorize a few lines. Memorize a few lines. A portable toilet would help. And you can pass, because they always have, at least at our physical, they go, what's the best line you can read? And you read off that line. And then you pass, and then you get a job, then you get insurance, then you get glasses. So, but don't do that as a regular thing, right? Go get glasses. But if you don't have the money, that's a way to pass your physical and go and get a job. Do they have an emoji with one eye? They should, I guess. There's some people. We got a guy without, he only has 2 fingers on one hand, but I think that's the worst handicap we have at our job. With an automatic, because the people ask him how he shifts, but now with an automatic, it doesn't make any difference. Huh. Okay, ARI sleepers do have bathrooms. The sleeper, of course, is $100,000, and so which is a very expensive toilet. And again, you still got to stop to go back there, you know, and that's for an owner-operator. I don't know. There's be almost no companies that run these huge sleepers. Maybe some van line. That's where I always see it. I always see it on a van line, and they're the ones that have to go in a residential neighborhood. You know why? So they charge you extra. Oh, because we got to do a double move, because our huge 350-inch wheelbase truck doesn't fit down your street. Yeah, exactly. Right? That's why I get a U-Haul. Sorry for all the bed buggers, but I'm just not doing that. I worked at North American Van Lines for 4 days, so I know what I'm talking about. 4 days. That was enough for me. 4 days. Worked there 4 days. Got a job. We went out as a driver, okay? I thought I'm going to be a driver. Went loaded this person's house up. It took like all day. Maybe it was only 3 days I worked there. And then we had to drive it all night from Chicago to St. Louis. Okay, so we slept a couple hours. And then we got up and then unloaded the entire house into somebody's house, right? And then drove all night back to Chicago. And I'm like, and I was in my 20s, and I was like, I was a zombie. And I thought, and I did like only a few hours of driving. And it didn't pay much. I'm like, forget this. Huh. I'm not giving you t-shirts back either. I quit. That's when I would just quit jobs. I've seen memes of people that installed the toilet over the driver's seat. I've often thought that, you know, that could be an interesting idea, although you don't want to hit a bump and go down during, you know, that's all I would say about that. You wouldn't want to use it necessarily, but, and I always hear these stories about people who have a hole cut in the sleeper that where they're teaming and they can use the hole, and I don't know. Yeah, I did not have chrome and chicken lights. In fact, I had a cab over, international for North American Van Lines, and it was just a regular international cab over. And I had the shifter up here. It wasn't even a flat floor one, so you had to climb out of the seat and get in the back. It was way too much work. Way too much work. Maybe it keeps you in shape, but holy mackerel. And it didn't pay that much for all the... Unloaded the entire house. Who's got 40 million beds and boxes? And oh, my God. Forget it. I thought I was going to be a driver, and then people would do the work. They didn't explain it to me, I guess, and I probably didn't ask because I hadn't been driving that long yet. But for me, bed bugging, not for me. Not going to be the thing for me. If you love it, be my guest at it, right? You get to meet all kinds of people, you know. That's not my thing either necessarily, you know. And people, oh, don't hurt my painting. I paid $4 for that 12 years ago, you know. Oh, God, who cares? Sorry, I don't care about your stuff. Or you go to expensive house or something. That would aggravate me too. Oh, can I move your Bentley for you? No. So that cab over, you know, that's what was being driven, you know, late 80s still. We still had cab overs around, you know, which I had a number of them. And I don't mind them, but that did not have any chicken lights other than the light that came on it from the International factory. And that was enough. And that thing did get down the People's Street, so they didn't have to pay extra. And I don't know what they paid for that move, but it wasn't enough because it aggravated me to no end, and I won't do it again. No matter how often they call. Yeah, look, the bed buggers and car haulers now, and I do see this, and I think, you know, I'd probably love that job at Reliable or whatever, doing that kind of thing, because I'm a huge car nut. I've been to Jaguar driving events and Cadillac. I went to a Cadillac event, a Lincoln driving event. I love it. Right, but, you know, and so I'd get to drive all these exotic cars. You know, I drove a Countach, a Lamborghini Countach years ago, which was probably the best driving experience of my life. and they have these big trucks because they can afford them. I gotta believe if somebody's carting around a Ferrari or whatever, that they gotta pay out the nose to have that thing hauled around. This isn't somebody's, Kia being driven being carted across the country. You're gonna pay buku bucks. You got enclosed service, premium white glove service for this car that's 100, 200, 300,000 more. Some cars millions of dollars, depending what you're hauling. That's got to pay out the butt. So that's why they have these big sleepers. They can afford them, and they're not dropping off that kind of car, at the house necessarily. They may say, meet us at a lot. I know they do that. They say, okay, meet us here. So they make cents per mile plus cents per mile per vehicle. That makes a lot of sense, right? And it's going to be a lot. It's going to be a lot because, if I want my Ferrari, which I don't have one, move somewhere, I'm probably going to expect to pay extra because you're going to charge me more just because I can afford it because, hey, this guy's got a Ferrari. He's got a lot of money. Let's charge him a lot of money. And I'm going to want better service, enclosed service. I don't want that stuck up there with 3 wrecked cars above it or whatever. That's got to be winched up there, right? So it's going to pay more, so they're going to be able to afford a huge sleeper. They deserve it. Just the minute in the Ferrari would almost be worth the job to see those cars. Because one of the best days of my life was driving that Countach. One of the best car experiences I've ever had. Even though I've driven a ton of cars, and I love cars, as an aside, right? I love driving them. Okay, truck company doesn't run in Mexico. I know some companies are starting to run into Mexico. And I wouldn't do it. I've only ever gone to Laredo and the border towns, right, and dropped off. And the trailer goes across the border. And by the way, anybody that's done this, are they still doing this? They used to take all the lights out of the trailer. They would take all the lights out of the trailer. I'd drop it off in the yard, and I watched the guy. He'd pry all the lights out and put them in a bin. And then you'd go get the trailer that had come back from Mexico, and you'd have to pop all the lights back in. And he said they steal them in Mexico. And they stole the Glad hand rubbers too. Like, well, who steals those? What are those? What do you sell those for tamales? I don't understand it. CR England has people, so they go from the U.S. to Mexico and continue. They just continue along the border and just continue into Mexico. I wouldn't do it. No way. No way. And I know a poquito amount of Spanish, which that's one of the words. And there's no way. No way. It's border only. Border only. You don't know what's down there. The roads are different. Everything's different. I'd be afraid. Yeah, I'd be afraid of that. What if you're in an accident in Mexico? And do you go to jail? What if you use some kind of ticket? I mean, nobody speaks English. It's like almost a foreign country. I wouldn't go. I wouldn't do it. I've been to Canada for 3M. I used to drive for 3M. I've been there. Drug cartels. You could bring drugs back. What if they put drugs on your truck? What if they stick drugs on there because they're coming out of Laredo, going north, right? There's always the border check, right? For Border Patrol where they're looking for everything. What if they put stuff in there? Or you get a trailer down there. What if you break down? There's too many. I'm already thinking of too many what ifs. What about the money? What about your cell phone? What about service, right? So no way. Not instant. Wouldn't cross it. Wouldn't cross. Canada, that's another story. It looks basically like the United States, except they have Tim Hortons. Otherwise, it's the same, and kilometers, and you have to learn French if you go to Montreal. Otherwise, that's it. So Canada, okay. I haven't gone in a while, right? But I did go there for 3M. That's right. What if the illegals, right. Well, they go through the border. They do check that. Although, by the way, when they checked it, they asked me, are you an American? Yes. Okay, so that I got to go. But I would be afraid of all these things. Too many things. What if you're grabbed at the truck? What if you hurt yourself in Mexico? Think about that. What if you need to go to a doctor? It can happen. Things happen to people. What if you break your leg? What if you have a heart attack or you get sick? The truck break. There's too many. Oh my gosh. My head is swimming. I'm out. I already don't want to do it. I can't believe they get people to do it. Because in Mexico, which we can look up, the average person in Mexico makes 15 cents a mile driving in Mexico. So what if somebody robs my truck in Mexico? Yeah. So how does England make any money paying people American wages in Mexico when they can get a cartage company to transport it cheaper? What is the benefit of that? I don't understand how that benefits them. The border coming back, because I went down there, right? The border coming back in a car, I went in one of those little groups to go down there. It was a disaster. It took forever to get back. to go in a truck that time, there's your electronic log time. Okay, passport or enhanced license to go there, right? No, passport card. Passport card. Maybe because drivers get to visit the country. England, trucking companies don't care, which they shouldn't care, about you getting to visit the country. Their goal is to make the most money for themselves. You can get a passport card. You don't have to get a full passport. You can get a card, which is good for land crossings to Mexico and Canada. And it's about half price of a passport, so 50, 60 bucks. But it's only good for those crossings. And you still can't fly with it, I think. Right, so it'd be only good for like driving across the border. So you could do it. Do I recommend going to Canada? Look, I went to Canada. If the load pays enough, it'd be all right. But the border crossing is a line, and the line affects your electronic log. So if we're going to sit in lines, we got an electronic log problem, so it needs to pay. And the only problems we would have, ironically, is coming back this way. Going to Canada, they're like, do you have any guns or cigarettes? I'm like, no, I left that stuff at home. So I got to go. Coming back, I cannot tell you the number of times the U.S. would inspect me coming back. Yeah, no kids, no child support. You should pay your support anyway, he said, but admonishingly. Coming back, I would get inspected all the time. They'd pull over there, open the trailer up. I go, what I got? 3M. I go, I got videotapes, remember those? And scotch tape, Post-its, all that. He'd open the boxes up. He goes, oh, it's Post-it notes. I go, yeah, that's what I told you it was. Oh, yeah, well, he goes, yeah, you look kind of shady. And so there's an hour out of my day, right? Then they seal it back up with their little custom stuff and tell me to have a nice day in my own country. So that kind of thing has to be taken into consideration with the pay. You got to make, because you got to make, we're out here to make money. We can see Canada on our vacation. If we want to drive up there, it'd be a lot easier. Are they friendlier? I don't know. Everybody here has been pretty good. Oh, no child support, no passport card. Then you're not going to Canada, I guess. Canada, I don't know. You know, everybody here is pretty friendly anyway. They're just friendly with an accent. And they love coffee and Tim Hortons, which is a similar to, you know, a small hamburger restaurant. They have coffee, donut. They're famous for their coffee and donuts. Tim Horton was some kind of Canadian hockey player or whatever. He opened up a bunch of restaurants up there. I don't know anything more about Tim Hortons than that. But you should pay your child support anyway. I'm sure we all agree with that, if you have any to pay. But yeah, so if you're behind, how do they know you're behind? Is there something a background check at the post office when you go to get a passport? Because I know people with a passport. I'll have to ask them. They may be watching. Hey, Dino, do your passport, do you have to, is there a background check for child support if you're watching the video? Not sure. Do Canadians hire American companies? Yeah, you know, I think they do. I think they hire you. I've seen ads for Bison and stuff here, right? And these other ones, brain gone, right? Yeah, they hire down here because they have loads here that are just here. So, and they need people down here to transport them, I think. So I think you could, but I don't know. Child support is state, though. Passport is federal. Child support is government, passport is government, right? But child support state, passport federal, because passport can be used everywhere. Child support is your state. But if they do a check, then you're in. Maybe they ask you, do you owe child support? Or maybe a credit check. But I know, right, that you're like almost it's a criminal act, right? Isn't that how it works in Canada? So in Canada, not paying your child support is criminal. Here, it's just civil. So in Canada, you can't come if you're a criminal. And so back support there is a criminal, is a crime. So they don't let you come in. So Ontario, yeah, trucks have a speed governor. Canada's got a speed governor. If you're going to work for a company, you probably have a governor anyway. Probably. Most company trucks, most, are speed governed just to save fuel. We're governed at 65. And whether I like it or not, I guess doesn't matter, because if I don't like it, I can just go somewhere else, they would tell me, because they're not going to change it for me. They don't care. So Canada has the limit, and you just look at the kilometer thing on there. You'd have to bring any prescriptions you'd have would have to be in its own bottle, which you should do anyway because it'd be illegal. Yeah. Well, you should immediately tell your company to turn the governor on. Immediately. You should, next time you pull in, tell them, hey guys, you forgot the governor on this truck. You need to do something about that. I want to be someone who totally follows the regulations of my company. Yes. I'm sure that will be happening. Well, you can get played by a recruiter even if you do your research. So the best bet, if you're looking at a company or anything, is to go talk to other drivers. Go talk to other drivers. Go at a truck stop in your area and sit there, because you're probably going to get hired at a company in your area. You're going to want them to come by your house so you can get home. Go down there, take a day. It's worth it. And go find the drivers and go talk to them. Say, what's the deal with this place? And go look online at all the people. Is everybody complaining? Type in the name of the company X and complaints or something like that. And see if there's a bunch of people talking about it. Go look at their website, their Facebook, their Twitter, everywhere. Go find everywhere they are and go see what they have to say and see what other drivers are saying about them. That's your best way to do it. Yeah, you're DM right. He's got a good guy, right? Always just stay within. We can't be speeding that much anyway. If you're not around your truck. Yeah, you know, you're going to have to go where they are. And no matter what your speed governor is, you shouldn't speed. Because we don't want to get tickets. Tickets cost us money. And money costs you. Company ads are just like talking to a recruiter. The ads, of course, say great things about the company. Companies never put out an ad that says terrible things. You shouldn't work here, and we don't pay properly, usually late, and we screw you on waiting time. That usually doesn't happen in their ads. You're going to want to go away from the company and talk to drivers that you find just out in the wild, as they say, like, Wild Kingdom. Go find one out somewhere. Go hunt him down and talk to him and say, hey, what's going on? You buy him lunch. Say, hey, look, I'll buy you, talk to me for 20 minutes. I'll buy you lunch here at the truck stop. You know, it's always a thing of, give and then you can get. Give them something and you'll get something. That's pretty easy. It works everywhere you go. Say, just like the parking. I'll give you $10 so I can make $40 tomorrow. It always works out. The drivers in the ad may not be real drivers. Who knows? Who knows? Maybe they're actors. Does it say actor portrayal on it? I would love. That's hilarious. But look, every company that's any kind of size is going to find drivers that'll be happy to do an ad for them. There's always yes people at every company, no matter how bad it is, who love the place. Swift has people, in their ads. They probably love it too. So there's always going to be somebody at a company that'll run an ad for them. So they're probably real drivers. I would say they're probably real drivers for that company, but they're being given a script and reading it or saying it. They're not necessarily saying the truth of the company. We want to know from drivers, that just random drivers that we find, what's this deal? Ask the guy, what do you make? Let me see how much you make. Do you sit around? There's a lot of things to go through. See, that's the thing. England, okay, you've heard bad things about mega carriers, and rightfully so. A lot of them are bad, and they treat people poorly. But then some people go to, like England, and then they have a great experience there. And I know there was a driver on here who works for Knight, and he has a great dedicated run at Walmart, and it's turned out to be great, even though he's at a company that gets a lot of grief. But they rightfully do have problems that more than average. Even though they have a lot of drivers, they have more than the average amount of problems. If you go through 100% turnover, okay, it's not just the drivers, it's partly you. So it's probably partly right and partly exaggerated, but there's something to it. But in every job, it's what you make of it. You can have a great experience probably at any company if you want, but some of the micromanagement stuff is not going to be my style. Like they're going to tell you exactly everything. That's not for me. You're hiring me because I know what I'm doing, so let me go do my job and leave me alone. That's what I want out of a company. I don't want to talk to you. I don't need you to know my name. I'll be happy to give you a number when I call in. I don't care. All right, just let me do my job and be done with it. I don't want to hear any more about it. That's for me. Other people like to be held every day. Some people just like to go do a regular dedicated thing. There's all that at every company. Every company is going to have great stuff and stuff that's horrible about it. You're not going to be able to get around it either way. Good and bad everywhere, like they said in the song, right? So England, if it works out for you, that's great. They do have a large turnover, and there's something to that, though. They run through a lot of people. And there's a reason for that. And there's a lot of ads on YouTube for truckers. There are ads on every feed you get for trucking companies. They run ads everywhere because they can't get enough people. Now, you go to a truck show and give your information in there, you will forever be called for the rest of your life for trucking companies. I get 4 calls a month at least from trucking companies to come and work there. They just can't find people. They just can't. So that's why I know it's there's plenty of jobs for people that aren't being paid anything because places are calling me to come and work for them. And I'm like, I already work somewhere. They go, who cares? People that are OTR can be out a week or a month. Yeah, you know, some people feel like they're entitled to stuff. And some people think like they should be treated differently than they are, but I think that everybody should be treated like a professional. And you can be out, look, OTR, you can be out a week, you can be out a year. You can live in the truck, which is what I recommend for people that are 21. Really. If you're 21 and don't have a job, go get a driving job. Go live in the truck for 5 years and save half your pay or more. At the end of 5 years, you could theoretically have $125,000, $150,000 or more saved. So now you're 26 years old, you have 150 grand cash. Now, go start your life. That's life-changing money. If you just save that, that's your whole retirement. That kind of thing for someone that's 21 is life-changing. It's life-changing. Life-changing money. See, does local work get boring? I don't know. UPS drivers in Indianapolis getting $30 an hour, $2,000 a week. I don't know how bored they are with that. See, I don't see it as boring, no matter where you go, because to me, driving is a job. It's a job where I make money, and then the things that I want to see, I can do on my own time. Now, you get to see the whole country as a driver, true, right? But I guess because I've seen most of the country, I don't know. Okay, England has a policy against student driving at night. How would they enforce that, though? So I think they should have a policy against the trainer ever sleeping. But they should, maybe they could run the truck as a solo the whole time the guy is on there and you both sleep at the same time. That'd be all right, too. They should have the student call it in, I think, and say, I have to drive at night. Maybe they could have off hours, 11 to 6, something like that. Because, look, people that are not used to being up all night, I think they have a much higher likelihood of falling asleep. We don't want that. You don't want people falling asleep, killing everybody. And yet, even with this stuff, you know, they were supposed to do that where I do too, which I don't do it. Why do companies drive with their lights on? They say it's safer. I don't like it because I don't like the taillights being on, because then it doesn't light up as bright with the brakes. So I'm a rebel. I don't turn my lights on. I don't care. They can just eat me about it. I don't care. They got bigger things to worry about, but we're supposed to do it here too. The truck has daytime running lights on it. Our cars have, you know, I have LED daytime running lights on the wife's car, and my car has daytime lights on it. It's supposed to be safer. Should be a little safer. I'm not in for turning the lights on because the tail lights are lit up then, and it's harder to see them when they go on turn signals and stuff. I don't like it. I don't like it, but they didn't ask me. And you see a lot of trucks that say that on them, but then their lights are not on. Which would be me if we had the sticker, which we don't have on our trucks. We just don't have anything on there. Yeah, see, your first week you're up, but I think if somebody's considered a student and they have a trainer, the trainer should be up. If they need a trainer, then the trainer should be up to train them. The trainer can't get in the back and sleep and then say I'm training somebody. It doesn't work that way. If they can be up doing their job without a trainer, they don't need the trainer. They're done with the trainer. Let them go. I'm going to do the job. If they still need the trainer, then the trainer needs to be up. Trucks idle the truck at night so that they can not die from the heat. Many trucks don't have an APU. So the drivers idle too much, but they idle at night to sleep, daytime sleep. Now they idle all the time, which they shouldn't do. Okay, if you pull up from the fuel and turn truck off. Okay, I'm not one to waste fuel. I don't think you should waste fuel. I don't think you should automatically waste a company's fuel. You shouldn't do that. But if your truck has an auto shut-off, oh, you know, on idle, right? Our shut-off at idle, and if you kick up the idle, then it runs. So, right, you could do that. Then it will still run all night. But if you just pull up from the fuel line, turn the truck off. When you're filling up the truck in the summer, you don't need to leave the truck running unless you're teaming. It can be shut off for 5 minutes. You're not going to, the truck won't be dead, you know. If it won't start, then that's a problem. How long would I recommend idling a truck at night? For the whole time you're in it. If you're in it, sleeping, run it. There's very few nights. That it's decent to run the truck. And I don't like leaving the vents open anyway. I don't like leaving the vents open. And to idle our truck, it has to be past 900. If the bonnet goes to 900, and then it'll run. And just at regular idle, it doesn't run. So it has a 5-minute timer or whatever on it, so that they know you're sleeping in it or whatever. But you should run it for as long as you're sleeping. For as long as you're in it, it should be running. You want to be comfortable. I mean, they're having you stay away from your house. And as all drivers say, right, the dispatcher, that they don't turn off their air, you know, if it's nice out, you know. Like I have the air running here because it's nice in here, no problem. So the company, that's just part of their doing business, is letting the truck run. They're going to have to pay for it. Part of what they do to run a business. Drivers need to be comfortable, and they should expect it. They should really have an APU. I think that's better. They're super quiet. Does everybody remember, do I drive my windows down? No way. Too loud. I don't do it in my car. I don't do it in the truck. Way loud. Way loud. It's just the droning. Forget it. Windows are closed. Does anybody remember optimized idle? Anybody for optimized idle? Bueller? Anyone? Years ago we had optimized idle. Yes. Okay. Optimized idle, you would set a temperature in the truck and a variance of 4, 7, or 11 degrees is how ours went. Then the truck would shut off, and then with the temperature, like in the summer, say you set 70, then at 74 degrees the truck would turn on, just start itself, and run up to like 1500, and waking everybody up, and then the temperature would go down because it ran the air, and then the truck would shut off. And it did that all night, summer or winter. What a disaster. That was horrible. That was horrible. Do truckers have to over-rev the engine? Right, it would start if the battery got low. That's correct. You also had like a battery tender on it. But APUs do that now. They have a voltminder. They have a voltminder that will start the APU if the battery goes low too, if I remember right. Yeah. Do you have to over-rev? I don't know what over-revving is to start the truck. I remember having a lever on the Ford that opened the valves up. And you'd crank it with no compression. And then you'd shove the lever in, closing off the valve so it would get compression, and it would start. So really red. Then you'd pull this. Oh my gosh, that was old, because it had a front brake limiting valve too. Who's in for that? Anybody ever been around for that? Front brake limiting valve on my Ford. Had a little switch you'd turn. It said front brake limiting valve, and then limited the amount of brakes on the front axle so that it did not slide if you hit the brakes hard when you would stop, so that the front tires would turn and you could still steer. That's kind of like an early mechanical ABS system. Oh my gosh. They're illegal now. You can't do them now. They're totally illegal. Revving like that, right? You don't want to rev high when you're leaving or anything. You know, just drive the truck normally. Just drive it normally. Not this over revving or under or anything else. I don't agree with any of it. These things are super expensive. Yeah, not having large pipes help with aerodynamics, absolutely. Get everything out of the wind flow, right? Get it all out. That's why the trucks are all smooth on the side. All aerodynamics under the trailer. A couple of our trailers have those pop-open things in the back. Usually I don't ever end up getting those, but I've seen them. Supposedly they pop open automatically. And we've got all the trailers, almost all have the underneath things on them now. The tractors have them. I've got hubcaps on the tractor, hubcaps on the trailers. I look like a UFO going down the road. But, you know, at a high 8 miles per gallon, it's saving them money. So that's great. The more money they save, the more money they can pay me. Theoretically, it hasn't happened yet. I'm waiting for it, though. I'm like, hey, I'm getting almost 9 miles a gallon. Where's my money? Where's some money? They go, look, you're against fuel bonuses, so we're not going to give you one. And I go, dang it. Dang it, my videos. They're watching, because I'm not a huge fan of those either. But keep everything out of the flow. Just like smooth it out, and then the truck gets better mileage, and the company can make some money. They're already making a ton on the freight as it is, as they say. Because we look at all their stocks are all going up, no problem. Even the ones that have this huge turnover, it doesn't seem to bother them. As far as I know, there's some kind of government kickback on that, I think. They're getting some kind of kickback when they get students. And every year they do try to make the trucks more aerodynamic, and so that they can get better fuel mileage yet, because they want to sell trucks. People making trucks want to sell trucks. That's their whole goal, right? Sell a truck. So that's what they do. They make them aerodynamic. It's okay with me. As a company driver, I have little say in that. Other than I expect a new truck pretty regularly, you know. Why am I against drivers getting a fuel bonus? Right. Okay, look. I can't control, as a driver, I don't have control over all the things that affect fuel mileage. like, you know, the trailer I pull, how much weight it has, where I'm going. All these things affect the fuel mileage the truck gets. Some guy who's running, you know, from Chicago to Atlanta with 5,000 pounds is going to get different than fuel mileage than me running Indianapolis to, you know, Utah on 70, pulling 40,000 pounds. So it shouldn't affect me. My fuel mileage shouldn't go down, and then I get less money. I don't get to control the load or where I'm going. That's not fair to me. What if the truck needs some kind of maintenance that it doesn't get, or has a clogged air filter? I can't control that. I don't get to tell them to put it in. It doesn't need one. Then it reduces my fuel mileage. So because I can't control all the factors that go into it, I don't like it. I don't like the bonus. It's not fair to me when I can't control it. I should be able to turn down heavy loads then so that I get better fuel mileage and get a fuel bonus, but I can't. So until I get to do that, I don't want to get a bonus based on things that I don't get to control. I want to control things that affect my paycheck. What if they put on tires that are not as fuel efficient? Yeah, the Cascadia is the Cascadia better than the Century. Well, look, Centuries are old. And so the Cascadia is new. That just came out a few years ago. Century's super old. I haven't seen one on the road. Well, I guess around here I see them because Chicago, Indianapolis, a lot of guys running containers. So I do see them on the road here a lot. Older Centuries. But, you know, the truck, as I always say, it's worth it just for the lights. This thing's got LED headlights. It's great. You can finally see what you're doing. So they get better fuel mileage. That's why I'm down to one fuel tank. I only have a single fuel tank on the truck that I have. 135 gallon, one tank, one side, that's it. On the DEF side, which is the driver's side, which I've seen trucks with the DEF on the other side. Who does that? I saw a reefer with the reefer on the passenger side. Come on, people. But the DEF on the other side, I don't know. How would you fill that up? I've never seen the tank other than on the driver's side. So I don't know how you got to drag the hose all the way around. I guess it'd probably reach. Seems like there's a lot of hose in there. It just didn't seem like a good idea. I think it was a Mac, by the way. Maybe at their own terminal they have a fueling for that. We don't have any of that. I like some Cascadias, but drivers hate them. I don't know. Why would, as a company driver, well, because they probably like a long-nosed, big Pete, whatever, right? Yeah. I never was, you know, into that. I always see it as just something they're giving me at work to go do my job. Not, you know, that, you know, it should look good, right? Keep it clean, whatever. But beyond that, that's it. Long nose, yeah, great. But, you know, when you're trying to back it in somewhere, you wish you had a Cascadia. Bypass the DEF system, I don't think you can do that. I couldn't do it as a company driver. I wouldn't want to do it for warranty. I think you'd have a warranty problem. Right, I don't get to keep the truck when I leave, of course, right? But so I want it clean. I think you got a warranty problem by bypassing it. This truck, because I get trucks new. I got this truck new last year. And the other truck had 320-something thousand miles on it. I got rid of it. So, you know, Freightliner Detroit is not going to allow, they're not going to allow a bypass DEF system. They're just not going to allow it. And some states, California, they're not going to allow it for sure, right? Huh. What's a strained frame? I don't know what a strained frame is. Some states check, right? But here they don't check. There's no way. A Pete, right, aerodynamic Pete, I'm in. But, you know, they all seem to be, you know, close. It just depends how it's set up inside. Because that's where I am. Yeah, stretch frame. What do I think about a stretch frame? I think I can't back it in anywhere. I think when you park at a truck stop, you stick out beyond everybody else. And so you're just asking for problems. I think you're just asking for a problem. And it, depending on what you ran, I guess it would be okay, but, you know, depending what you're doing, but I don't think it helps anything, and I think it's just more of a problem than it needs to be. The trucks get smaller and smaller all the time so that they get more maneuverable. We're almost back to the size of cab overs, which you could turn around anywhere in your own driveway, basically, in your house. We're almost back to that. It was a 180-inch wheelbase cab over or whatever I used to have with a little single sleeper on it. So stretch frame, not for me. That sure looks great. We can put these huge sleepers on them. What's better, split or single cab? What is a split cab? Split cab. Single cab. Thinking, if I could put a question mark up here, I would, but I can't put a graphic on there when I'm watching this. I'm not sure what a split cab or a single cab. Super singles. Okay, that we can talk about. Super singles. My thoughts on them, I have never run them. So I only know what other people have said about them. It seems to me, scientifically, right, they're going to get better mileage. The part of the problem, number 2 problem of fuel mileage is tire rolling resistance, and that's affected by the sidewall flex. We have half the sidewalls to flex, half the rolling resistance problems. They should get better fuel mileage. But as a company driver, I don't necessarily care about fuel mileage, so that doesn't bother me. They may ride better. People say they ride better. I'd be in if they ride better. Problem, you get a flat, you're on the side of the road. And they're not as plentiful, although there's more of them now. And so they're hard to get fixed. So you call a place, they don't have one, it may take longer to get it on there. So that's my thought on super single, having not driven them. I think that a downside for me as a company driver is if it goes flat, I have to stop right there, which may or may not be that safe of a place either. Or if I get a blowout on a dual, I can just continue on to a safe place and get the tire fixed where it's safer. Side of the highway, not that safe. Okay, single bunk, dual bunk. I like a double bunk because I can throw all my junk up there. It's like a whole shelf for me. It's like another shelf. So that's what I think about that. I leave it down all the time because it's a shelf. So I have all this shelf up there. You just leave it up there. Just toss everything, whatever you want, up there it goes. No problems. That's what I say about double bunks. So, and most companies buy them because I think it helps them on trade. And plus they can send, if you're a student, they go, okay, this guy's got a double bunk, right, you can go with, or you need to take somebody somewhere. So I think that a lot of companies get them anyway because of that reason. So double bunk all the way, right? Right, 386 Pete is the aerodynamic Pete because people still like to get fuel mileage. You know, if you're buying a truck, fuel mileage, it's your whole thing. You're going to go broke getting 5 miles to the gallon. You'll just completely go broke. So that doesn't make any sense. Looks don't pay the bills. The American Truck Simulator I have doesn't, yeah, and now I can't talk about it, right? Have I heard of the American Truck Simulator? Yes. Isn't some company using that? I have a picture of it actually saved somewhere. And I don't think it's that helpful, personally. I'm just against simulators. It's not the same as driving on the street. I don't like it. Other than learning how to shift, maybe. The actual visual of driving in the simulator is not nearly the same as driving on a road. I'd rather people drove on the street. We learned with a plunger, by the way, at my truck school. Yes, they had a large plunger here, and they had mounted these little things like this that the plunger would go into with the button on it, which you used to pull a button up, not a switch like it is now. And that's how we learned to shift all day. Okay, what's my favorite Iowa 80? Right, look, that place, they've got trucks inside. They've got 900 parking places. They've got a dog wash. That place has everything. I don't think, Iowa 80, they own a couple other places, right? But the Iowa 80 truck stop, that's the Mac Daddy, he said, because I'm only in my 20s, so that's why I say that. That's a great place. That is a great place. You just had the Jamboree, which I did not go to. I was working last weekend, but I think it's a great place. I remember what it used to be, just the Iowa 80 truck stop, right? Showers galore, the buffet goes on forever, food court, everything. Every piece of chrome you could want is in there. For every truck, you can chrome all your truck up and everything. I love it. I think it's great. There's always parking in there. Always parking. Everybody knows it. It's a place where everybody knows. And right across the street, right, is what? The Pilot, right? And who's filling over there? Mega Carriers, right? It's on the other side of the highway, right? Pilot right there. Nice. Nice. Prime Matron, the Joplin Petro, right. It's not the Iowa 80. They've got the big chrome shop there, too. They have that big chrome thing. Now, Prime used a simulator, but they still put you on the road, though. I just don't think it's the same. It's just not the same. Driving in a simulator isn't the same. Can you learn some? Yes, you'll learn some, but it just isn't the same. You shifting, maybe. Well, of course, Prime may have all automatics, but you should still learn to shift it. And these screens, I mean, they're good. It's good, but it isn't the road. It just isn't. And it's not the same. Of course, when you kill somebody on there, you just hit reset, and off you go again. Right, simulators aren't like real life. It's like gaming, right? Which everybody, I love gaming, but it's not the same as driving on the road. Our only simulated truck school, like I said, was the plunger shifter, which was all we did was shift on it. But that was it. We backed up in the yard and drove on the road in a white road commander. And they would make us upshift from first to 10th, back down to first. First to 10th, back down. All day. That's what you did all day. You shifted. In a real truck on a real road. I think that's a better way to learn. Okay, trucks don't have a split windshield for aerodynamics. The same thing. That bar, you'd think that little bar thing up there in the front of the windshield doesn't matter. It matters. It matters. Now the windshield, even Ryder Cascadias are all one piece now, where the Columbias we have were duals. It's smooth. It's smooth. Every little thing they can do, every little tenth, hundredth of a fuel mileage per gallon, hundredth here, 10th here, all that stuff adds up. And it matters when they're trying to sell a $150,000 truck to somebody. Little things like that over the life of that truck matter, especially to a company that might be going to go buy 200, 300, 400 trucks. And they can say, all right, over 400 trucks, I will know that you're going to save, they can show them, you're going to save $40,000, $50,000 if you buy that many trucks because of all the little changes that we made on the trucks. Every little thing they do matters. Look, the lights, the clearance lights are all aerodynamic now. They've thought of every little thing. There's nothing that they haven't thought of. Half the grill in my truck is covered. It only lets air in a certain spot. Look, they even do that in the car, right? The wife's car's got active shutters on it. So when we're driving down the highway, the shutters close in front of the grill in her car to get better fuel mileage when the engine doesn't need as much air for fuel mileage. Same thing on trucks. Everything, every mirror, every little piece of everything. If I have prescription glasses, I do have prescription glasses. I wear them to drive. I need them to drive. And I get them at Meijer. So I don't know what to say about that. I go to Meijer. And they're like $60 or whatever. And so, but my prescription plan every 2 years, I get them free. And I don't know what else to say. I just get the basic ones. The doctor gave me a little line for bifocal things. And but I have the line. My wife doesn't do that because she tries to stay all beautiful. And so, and it works because she's going to be watching the video, I'm sure. But look, she has the lines, but hers don't. She can't see the lines. And so it's all nice. And hers are all fancy and everything. Okay, sunglasses, I have clip-ons. I don't have them right here, but I just clip on sunglasses in front of them. I do. Yep, like an old man. Sorry. And mine clip on, and then the whole thing clips off. But I've also had the kind that go up and flip up like that, too. They're like $6. Because here again, right, I'm not trying to impress anybody. If people don't like the way they look, I don't care. They're for me. I just clip them on, and then at night I take them off. And that's what I do. You can, the kind of tint don't do you any good in the truck, because the UV glass doesn't let them tint, so that doesn't help. So you can also get prescription sunglasses that are dark, and then you got to change glasses, so I don't do that. I just have like the $6 thing that clips on. Simple. It's simple. But people, you know, and I just wear them. I don't care. People can think whatever they want. I do wear these glasses, right? These are my, as people call them, these are my bug eye glasses that I do all my outside videos. These are my not prescription, right? These are the ones I just wear walking around. They were like $8 at Meijer or whatever, right? Simple as that. Those are just the ones I do if I'm walking on a car show or whatever. But for driving, I have prescriptions and just clip on. Just a clip on. So $6 and free glasses through work. Simple. You can't beat it. But if you want the no lines and all that, then you're talking hundreds of dollars. And for me, it wasn't worth it. For the wife, it matters to her, so we got them for her. But for me, it doesn't work. Ah. Yes. I find it ironic that you deliver cheese from Texas to Wisconsin. I didn't know they made cheese in Texas. Ah. Wisconsin, of course, home of cheese curds. Love them. You get the bags of cheese curds. I used to pick up paper in Green Bay all the time. Right? Cheese curds with the sausage in them. The crap company of the week. Okay, what happened to the crap company of the week? I had a couple questions about this. I did a couple of those and I stopped doing them because I thought, I got some comments. And what happened is I don't want to discourage people from going into the industry at a company and thinking that the industry is horrible and that companies are horrible. That's why I stopped doing the crap company of the week. I want people to know that trucking is a good place. And there are bad companies. But, you know, as people have said, they can be good jobs at those companies too. So people, I want to be more positive about it, about the industry, to say, yes, you can come in and here's the things you need to look for if you're going to go work at a company, and we can do that kind of thing. Well, see, that's the thing. The good and bad company of the week, it's the same kind of thing. I want people, because really, I've had people write to me, that they have a great job at what would be otherwise considered a crap company. And that is probably, that is certainly the case. There's going to be good jobs at each place. So there's certain things, though, that I think people should look for. Like, do they double bunk you at orientation? That kind of thing. What do they pay up front, versus what do you have to pay back? All that stuff. I think that is going to be a more important thing going on, because I want to get people in the industry. I think people, there's enough negative people about the industry where I want to try to keep it a good, positive, thing about the industry. Even at Prime, you probably can do okay there. Maybe not with their $60,000 a year lease program, but you can do okay. You can get into there, and it can get you in the industry. That's, even there. So every company, good and bad, let's look for the things. Let's tell people, what do they need to look for at a company? What should they make here? Make sure they get paid for all their time. Make sure you're getting all your benefits, all that kind of stuff. Because really is a good industry. It's a great industry. Right now, it's booming. It's booming. There's 3 people lined outside my door waiting to hire me. Because they're just standing there waiting. You want to come and work for us yet? It really is almost like that. It almost is like that. And unfortunately, a lot of people getting in the industry don't have any money. And so they need to go to a place that's going to get them in a truck and get them a job, because they don't have any money. And truck school is expensive, thousands of dollars. And sometimes you can't get a government loan. And so these companies, even the crap company of the week, could be your ticket out of wherever you are. Because really, even there, everything is what you make it. If you're willing to work hard and be consistent and be persistent, you can be successful anywhere. Your circumstances, right, are what you make of them. So at a place like that, even, you can always know in your head, like, I'm going to leave here soon. But it may be the only place that gets you in. Maybe they take you, they don't charge you any money, they give you a job, they train everybody. Even such as it is, the training may not be great, but you still get your license. You still get your license. And that's one thing they can't take from you once you get, is your license. And that's your ticket out of wherever you are into whatever you want to be. Now we're past $100,000 in driving. People in a year could be making $2,000 a week. That's incredible. Considering I see people, I agree, company of the week. We just feature a company every week and put out all the information about them. Oh, that's not a bad idea. Yeah. Okay, I can see that. We'll put out the information. Here's the featured company of the week. Can they take your CDL away from you before you leave for the contract? No. Your CDL is yours. You earned it, it's yours. You leave before the end of the contract, all they can do is chase you around for the money that you owe them. That's it. That's your license, and it's yours. That's why I tell people in the middle of a contract, say they're treating you poorly. They're making you sit, you're making $400 a week. Quit. Quit. Just quit. Go find another job. They can sue you, so what? They're not going to sue you for $3,000, $2,000. It's very unlikely. Just start paying them. Send them $30. It messes up. Just like Dave Ramsey said, right? It messes up. Send them $20 because you know the money, right? It messes up their computer system. They get a payment. The total, they're going to threaten to sue you, or is Prime or whatever company you go to on the other side of the country. Then you live here. And they're going to come over here and sue you? I doubt it. They're going to sue you there. They have to serve you here. You still have to be served. For a couple $1,000, they're going to have a lawyer. Because they have lawyers. So they're going to have their lawyer do that? I doubt it. They'll put in your credit. Put in your credit. So what? Right? I say, so what? I don't have any credit cards. Put on my credit all you want. It's simple as that. So don't just stay there like an indentured servant because of a few $1,000s. $3,000 is nothing. Nothing. $3,000 is nothing. You can make that. People have a car. People buy $10,000, $20,000, $40,000 cars. Okay, $3,000 is $60 a week for a year. It's nothing. Go get a better. If you got a $60 raise somewhere else and just gave it to them, you'd pay the money off and you're done. And that's how easy it is to make $3,000, right? And that's what Dave Ramsey would say, right? Just pay them a little bit, and it messes up their computers. It's simple as that. Craziest thing I ever saw, I was driving, and there was a car on fire, and a guy standing there getting the stuff out of the car, and this car's like blazing up on fire. This is a long time ago, and I pull up in front of him, and this guy was old, and I think that was part of his problem. I'm like, hey, man, you got to come on. I have to get my fire extinguisher running back there. I'm like, you got to get away from that car. He's like, I got my stuff. I go, forget your stuff. Right, and so I grabbed him and dragged him up in between my truck and trailer. I had a flatbed at the time. Put him in there away from the fire, and the fire department came and everything. And the ambulance took him. He didn't seem to be burned, but, you know, I think he might have been too old to drive. You know, that's what I think. So they'll 2 years they leave. Let them do legal. They're going to threaten legal action. They'll send you letters. They're going to send you terrible letters. Oh, here's a terrible letter for you. We're going to sue you, right? Okay, so what? You're going to serve me 1,000 miles away? Besides which, you only leave because once you get another job. So you get another job and start paying him. You owe the money. I'm not telling you not to pay the money. Pay him. Get the money together. Start paying him. Send them $5, $20, $50, whatever it is. Work it out. They're going to send you a threatening letter. Here's a legal thing. This is not a threatening letter, right? This is Motor Trend. Okay. But, no way, right? So we're going to sue you, right? Just send them $50. You owe them the money. When they send you that, say, what do you want? What's your payment deal? What can we do about this? And it's simple as one won't go on your credit. I don't know. They say it'll go on your credit. That's what they say. Why would brakes squeak on a 2018 Cascadia? I have a 2018 Cascadia, and when my brakes squeak, I get out my wrenches. Oh wait, no, I take it over to the shop. I go, my brakes are squeaking. So yeah, they could be misaligned or whatever, right? Maybe you have a little piece of a pebble in there or something. I don't know. If you're a company driver, take it to shop. If you own the truck, I would say take it back. It should still be under warranty, right? Ours are all under warranty. $350 on our trucks. Maybe it's $300 or $500. It's 3 years, and we're well within that, right? I just got that truck last year, so take it in. But I think oh, wait a minute. It's not a loan. Nice. They don't put it on your credit because they didn't loan you any money. They're putting you through truck school basically almost as a barter system where you work your loan off, like sweat equity, like Habitat for Humanity. And so they can't put it on your credit because they didn't loan you any money. Nice. Nice. Am I right? Maybe. I could be totally wrong. Who knows? I could be totally insane. But I think that might be right. And look, a Cascadia rolling coal, I don't know, I'd cough up a storm. My exhaust is underneath the truck. It's right underneath behind me. So, no way. I would not want that. That exhaust burns through the snow in the wintertime to give me a little dry spot to get out of docks. And if it is rolling coal, you're right. It should go to the shop. It's not supposed to be blowing black smoke out of a Cascadia. Supposedly, it's cleaner than a car exhaust. Supposedly. That's what they say. It's got all these filters and everything. It hardly has any bad stuff in it. You can supposedly attach it to your face. They actually said you can breathe it if it's locked in a room, but I wouldn't do that. But yeah. So no, maybe no on your credit. I think they say it could have been the reefer. Do I think it's better to go to truck school to get your CDL or a carrier? I think the number one way to get it, the best way, is if you can afford it. This is number one. Pay for it yourself at a truck school that gets good reviews, look all the reviews up and everything, and pay for it yourself. Then you have a license and you can go anywhere you want and you don't owe anybody any money. If you cannot afford it, which is many people, of course, because it's expensive, see about going to that same school through a government loan. There are some of them, they have government loans where you have the money. So then you have this loan, but then you're not beholden to any certain company, and you get your license without a problem. and then you owe the government the money, but it's still a loan. And the next way, of course, then is through a carrier, and you're not going to have any money out of your pocket. And if that's the way to do it, that's the way to do it. You still get a license. That's your license. They can't take that from you. That's yours. You can quit right there as soon as you get it. You can quit right there at the DMV. Okay, you could. You'd still own the money. And that's probably the most expensive way because they probably charge the most of any of those three ways to do it, I think. I haven't priced it in a while. As an aside, for me, truck school in 1988 was $1,595 in 1988, and that was 3 weeks. But you tested on Thursday of the third week because Friday was retest for people that failed on Thursday because you had to wait a day. What do you think about that? So I think the price has gone up some, but not that much, really. Really. Okay, do truck schools use new trucks or old trucks? Now, look, when I went to truck school, we had old trucks. The backing truck was some old Brigadier that they couldn't even take on the road anymore. They had their own fuel tank there because this truck was a rotted out dump box of the truck. But it didn't matter. We were all like, what is this? He goes, look, the guys that ran the truck school have been driving for hundreds of years or whatever. They looked like it. They said, it doesn't matter. We're teaching you to back up. The principle is the same in this truck, in a brand new truck, it doesn't matter. And that, I learned that, right? And that helped me a lot. Right, you can go during the weekends, right? The backing, learning that helped me a lot. That every truck backs the same, and that's the key to backing up. People think because you get a long nose, you get a short nose, it doesn't matter. They all back the same. So if they have an old truck, a new truck, that doesn't bother me as much. They all back up the same. I don't know about specific places in California, right? Because there's places are all over the place. You'll have to call, see what their price is, then go do your research online, see if anybody is saying anything about them. They check with the Better Business Bureau. Richard, we're looking for a shout out for Richard. Just disappeared off the screen, right? To give a shout out. We're giving shout outs, no problem. Street side shout outs for Richard driving a truck. Hopefully he's not watching. If he's driving, he shouldn't be watching this. He should watch it later, right? Okay, right. Community colleges do. Unfortunately, where I am, because I would have thought about working there, Ivy Tech doesn't do it, but Ivy Tech around the state does have truck school. And that might be another way. If they'll give you a loan, you could go to that truck school. And a lot of times the community college will do it on the weekends too. So you can do your job, whatever it is you're doing, get this loan, get the truck school, get your license, and get on the road so we can see you out there on the road. And that's a better way to do it, I think. Because look, if you got this contract, they could chase you around, and they're going to send you letters, and you're going to have a tough time putting them down as a reference because who knows what they're going to say. And so it'd be better if you got the license yourself. And while you're in truck school, then you can do your research on where you want to go. And then you decide. You're not just locked into this place. But if you don't have any money, you can't just make money out of the air. You may have to do whatever you have to do. Because if you're making 30 grand, look, you can double that easily in a year. Probably more. No problem going to drive a truck. That can change your life. There's a guy standing at Meyer. I tell him that all the time. He's got a sign. I go, look, in a few weeks you can be making 40 grand. Oh, I can't do that. I'm like, well, I don't know what to say. You can do it, and it can change your life. So if you're only making a little bit of money, yeah, go do it, right? Go change your life with it. Why not? And if the truck school has old trucks, they have old trucks. You still learn the principle. The backing is the same in a Brigadier, right, or the long-nosed Pete. It doesn't make any difference. The driving is the same in any truck. It's just the size of the truck. It doesn't matter. Learn the essentials of it, and you've got it. Then you get in any truck, because we have that here. People go from a short truck, and then they get in this big truck. Oh, I can't back that up. Why not? It backs up the same. They all work the same. All the trucks work the same. And the 18, right, with the brakes, I don't know. Take it to the shop. That's what I say. It's brand new, right? Get it in there. If you own an 18 too, I say awesome to you for being able to afford a brand new truck. That's pretty sweet if you're an owner-operator. And if not, your company should go and fix that truck immediately. That's what I'm saying about that. Let's get that truck fixed. Let's get that in the shop. Holy mackerel. But these truck schools, they're everywhere, and they're popping up all over, and that's the problem. You need to research them too. Okay, research these truck schools because they're popping up, and it could have been open just a few weeks. And they're popping up just to make money, and then that's bad. That's bad. See, you wouldn't go to school, but some people, you wouldn't go to company, but some people don't have any choice. Not everybody can get it any other way. If if you have some kind of government problem or whatever, they may not give you a loan. You may have to go to a truck school. Would I recommend Roadmasters? I don't know. I'd have to look them up, the Roadmasters that you would want to go to, because it can probably be different. Each one could be different. Look them up. Do research on the internet. Do they have complaints? What is their graduation rate? Do people get jobs? Do companies come and recruit from there? Because that'll tell you that they like the drivers that come out of there. All that kind of stuff has to go together in a big pot. And then you say, all right, will they give you a government loan? Can you get a government loan? Because I think that if you can do that, either pay for it or government loan it, then you can go wherever you want. And that's important. You're not stuck somewhere. Although you still can leave, but it's harder to leave. It's easier to get in a good company first than to change companies, especially if you're gone. It's hard to change. You got to quit. Then you got to go to another orientation, which is super annoying. Take another physical. They usually won't take your physical. Take another road test and go with another trainer. If you don't have a year, you might get more training time. You're better off getting the right place the first time. It will save you just a little bit of research, especially while you're in school, would save you a lot of time. So, yeah, I think, Stevie Wonder's Institute for Trucking sounds like a great name for a truck school, to be honest with you. I think that'd be great. Everybody there should wear the glasses. Everybody should have the glasses on and the cane. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. What kind of commercial would that be? Come on. Would that'd be the greatest commercial we ever saw on TV. Stevie Wonder's Institute for Trucking. Holy mackerel. I think you get a +1 for that and you won the internet for the day. That is Stevie Swift Wonder. That is great. I'll tell you what. That is the comment of the day. I wish I could pin those here. That's the greatest thing ever. The truck school, the problem is, though, really, there's a lot of them popping up, and some of them are just scams. They're not really teaching anything. They take your money. You don't really learn anything even there. Just enough to pass, and then that's a problem. What kind of truck I drive? I have a 2018 Freightliner Cascadia, which I got at the end of the fall last year. Like it, Detroit power, right? Automatic, 12-speed automatic, love it. I change trucks every 2-3 years at my company. I get a new truck every 2-3 years, and the trucks still drive. They can put 450 on them maybe before they get rid of them, 500, and then they get rid of them, and they sell out them. And some, I don't know what they do with the rest of them. Some get wrecked or whatever. But I keep a new truck, and I keep it clean. I was over there waxing it today, by the way. There'll be a video about that tomorrow. But I was waxing the truck today on my free time. How about that? And because I think it should be kept clean. So, and I have something coming out about that. But look, the Stevie Wonder, I'm going to write that down. I'm gonna have to use that. Stevie Wonder Institute for Trucking. That is just going to be the best thing ever. I think I like it. Well, look, how's everybody doing? We're going to wrap it up here. I know I was expecting 30 minutes again today. We're at 2 hours, 18 minutes. That's incredible. I was glad my internet was able to hold up today. I did some changes to it here, reset it and everything. Wouldn't it be easier for them to keep older trucks? Yeah, it would, but it wouldn't be easier for them to keep experienced drivers. Because if the trucks start getting too old, I'd be looking for somewhere else to work. I kind of expect a nice truck. I just do. And I am going to do more streams. I really like doing them. I like interacting with everybody. I think it's a lot of fun. And I like to try to give out any information that I can, although the limited stuff that I know about stuff. Fortunately, today people were asking me things I know about, so that is better. And the Stevie Wonder comment gets a +1 today. But look, the 18 Cascadia, I love it. I keep it clean. You should always keep your truck clean because you're a professional, right? Look, so everybody have a great day today. I think I'm going to wrap it up here. We're about rolled up. And be safe out there, right? Always be safe. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in. I appreciate it. And we're going to be back soon with more of these streams, all right? So I think that's it for today. And thank you. Thank you for being here, everybody. I appreciate it. Thanks for coming in. Salvador. Thank you.